Chapter 2097. Lin Yi, you'll give up? Stop bullsh asterisk ting. Pai Jishan heard Lin Yi's words and was furious. Do you think I'll believe you? Believe it or not. Lin Yi said faintly, Sigh, I won't give up today. But in the following matches, I might get tired of winning and be ready to give up. Don't rush me. Give up? Who do you think you're bluffing? If you can give up, I'll give you my head. Pai Jishan was so mad at Lin Yi that he lost his mind. What do I need your head for? How about we make a bet? If I give up, you'll give me another bottle of that external body tempering potion. How's that? Lin Yi asked. This, Pai Jishan said it out of anger. But if it was a bet, he was a little scared. You can't decide, right? If you don't want to bet, then forget it. Lin Yi said faintly. Bet with him. Isn't it just a bottle of potion? If I lose, I'll compensate you with pills. Right Coiling Tiger hated Lin Yi the most out of all of them. For no other reason than the fact that Lin Yi had just ruined 2 of his cauldrons. So naturally, he hoped that Lin Yi would give up this match. Plus, from Right Coiling Tiger's perspective, Lin Yi was just being polite. He was going against Pai Jishan. From Lin Yi's, if you don't want to bet then forget it. It seemed that Lin Yi didn't want to give up the match either. If he gave up the match, it meant that he had to lose a treasure. Exchanging it for a bottle of body tempering potion, it didn't seem like a good deal. So that was why Right Coiling Tiger was so scared of Pai Jishan and Lin Yi. Right Coiling Tiger came to watch the match today, but he didn't have the chance to speak, so he didn't reveal himself. Okay, then I'll bet with you. If you give up, I'll give you a bottle of body enhancing potion. Pai Jishan nodded. Old Yu looked at Yupan, who's speaking from the side. His lungs were almost bursting with anger. Was there something wrong with this Right Coiling Tiger? Make Lin Yi forfeit the competition? If Lin Yi directly gave up in the last round of the spiritual beast trials, then wouldn't the plan be in vain? However, this plan was formulated by a few family elders and sect leaders. Coiling Tiger of the Right naturally didn't know about it, and it was impossible for Coiling Tiger of the Right to reveal it in advance. Therefore, he was extremely angry at Coiling Tiger of the Right for being too talkative. Alright, old Zhao, can you announce the results of the match? I'm so tired. Lin Yi and Pai Jishan finished their bet and turned to Elder Zhao. In this round, the Hidden Han clan wins. In second place is the Hidden Pai clan, and in third place is the Golden Bell sect. Old Zhao then announced the results of the duel. The Hidden Han clan shall collect their bets. The Hidden Pai clan and the Golden Bell sect shall withdraw their bets. Lin Yi looked at the Hidden Pai clan's bets. It was the meridian opening pill that Lin Yi gave him. Lin Yi wasn't interested in it, so he refused to exchange anything with him. Pai Jishan looked coldly at Lin Yi, then took the meridian opening pill, and left with Pai Jihai and Elder Pai. They didn't say anything else. The Hidden Clan Pai had good luck, coming in third in the first round of the competition. They didn't suffer any losses, nor did they win anything. As for the third-place Golden Bell sect, Lin Yi wasn't surprised. It looked like external martial artists had an advantage in terms of power, but it was limited to a head-on clash. On the other hand, internal martial arts tended to be more skillful. For example, the Frenzy Fist. Although the pure strength of the fist was slightly weaker, with the support of the fire element, it could still cause unimaginable damage to the enemy. The treasure that the Golden Bell sect brought out for exchange was a set of low-grade golden cicada underwear. According to the treasure's description, this low-grade golden cicada underwear could defend against attacks from experts below the Earth class. In other words, as long as one's strength hadn't reached the Earth class, any mystic class would be helpless against this set of underwear. However, this treasure was only a low-grade golden cicada underwear. It wasn't like the mid-grade and high-grade golden cicada underwear that could resist fire and fire. This low-grade golden cicada underwear was still very vulnerable to fire and water. This item was a treasure. To put it bluntly, it was actually a trade between the Golden Bell sect and House Pai. Both houses were experts in external martial arts, but one could be said to be an attacker and the other a defender. House Pai's defense was slightly weaker, while the Golden Bell sect's offense was slightly weaker. If the two could complement each other, it would be a good idea. This low-grade golden cicada underwear was very important to the Golden Bell sect. It was better to lose to the Hidden House Pie in this competition. Of course, even if they didn't lose, they could still trade it to the Hidden House Pie. Who would have thought that the Hidden House Pie would lose? Of course, the Hidden House Pie didn't want to trade with the Golden Bell sect in front of Lin Yi. If that happened, Lin Yi would probably stop them and forcefully take advantage of the trade to get the golden cicada underwear from the hands of the Golden Bell sect. Therefore, the Hidden House Pie pretended to not care and left first. In fact, they were hinting to the Golden Bell sect to quickly take their treasure and leave. They could trade in private. Unfortunately, this item caught Lin Yi's eye. An attack from someone below Earth class? That's right. Even if he couldn't use it himself, the people around him could still use it if they were doing something dangerous. And so, Lin Yi casually found a small rejuvenation pill from his pile of items. This pill was the bet that the Hidden House Pie handed over. It could quickly heal an injured person, but it couldn't heal an injured person's meridians. It could only heal injuries other than the meridians. Of course, this so-called small rejuvenation pill was naturally less effective. It was useless for major injuries, and could only heal injuries that weren't fatal. This item was also a foundation for Lin Yi. Lin Yi's art of dragon mastery could heal anyone regardless of whether their meridians were injured or not. Therefore, this small rejuvenation pill was useless. Lin Yi directly threw it to Jean Gang and said, "Exchange it for your golden cicada underwear." Jean Gang was speechless. What the fuck, aren't you tricking me? We're the Golden Bell sect, and we train to be untouchable. What's the use of giving me a small rejuvenation pill? Who can injure us? If they can injure us, then our injuries can't be healed by a small rejuvenation pill. We'll either be crippled or dead. Moreover, this golden cicada underwear was meant for the Hidden House Pie. If it was exchanged by Lin Yi, how would he explain it to the Hidden House Pie? Therefore, Vajra Diamond looked at old Zhao helplessly, wanting him to say a few words. Chapter 2098. It's not that I don't want to change. It's just that this low-tier golden cicada underwear is useless to you. Jean Gang sighed after seeing that Elder Zhao didn't say anything. He knew that Elder Zhao couldn't just change the rules in public. If the rules were changed, how would the matches go on in the future? If that happened, Lin Yi would just leave. Lin Yi had won quite a lot of things these past 2 days. And if he couldn't kill Lin Yi, it wouldn't be worth it. Why do you care if it's useless to me? Can't I let my wife wear it? Lin Yi frowned impatiently. But this thing is worn by a man. And it's an underwear set. You don't want your wife to wear another man's underwear, do you? Jean Gang explained. I don't know how to wash it. Don't you know what a washing machine is for? Lin Yi glared at him. Are you going to change or not? I'll change. Jean Gang helplessly passed the low-tier golden cicada underwear to Lin Yi. House Pie. Oh, House Pie, you guys lost the match, don't blame me. After taking the golden cicada underwear set and the treasures he won, Lin Yi didn't stay for long. He went back to rest with Han Tianba and Han Xiaopa, leaving the elders and sect masters looking at Lin Yi with envy and jealousy. Once Lin Yi was far away, Elder Zhao sighed and turned to the others. This Lin Yi, he used pure chi just now. If I'm not wrong, he should be an Earth class early phase, right? That's right, early phase. The hidden elder of House Yu nodded. But this Lin Yi is only an Earth class early phase? Impossible. How could an early phase Earth class kill 3 Earth class masters in one hit? Old Yu shook his head. That's true. Plus, Lin Yi also said that he was suppressing his strength. Elder Tang said, Lin Yi was already an Earth class early phase a long time ago. And that kid's leveling up really fast. He was only Mystic mid-phase peak back in the Ice Palace. If you're talking about half a year ago, that Lin Yi was still at the early phase of the Mystic class. He fought with my little Zhu, and both of them were heavily injured. How could he compare? Old Zhao frowned. This Lin Yi has been an Earth class early phase for a long time now. It's impossible that he hasn't broken through yet. Is this kid trying to mislead us? It's hard to say. This Lin Yi's usual trick is to pretend to be a pig to eat a tiger. He purposely pretends that he doesn't have any strength, and then when the enemy comes knocking on his door, he starts to act tough. Diamond said hatefully, Lin Yi's follower could kill my disciple. How bad can this Linny be? That's true. Everyone nodded. Evidently, they understood Lin Yi's trick very well. This Lin Yi was purposely acting weak, and then when everyone came at him, he'd give them a powerful blow. This time, no one wanted to be an idiot. Whoever went up to him would really have their brains pierced. It had been a few times already, and they'd fallen for the same trick twice already. It wouldn't be a third time. When it came to the position of elders and sect masters, no one was stupid anymore. Forget it. Let's not care if Lin Yi is trying to mislead us or not. Let's prepare for the next match. We can't let Lin Yi win again. If we let Lin Yi win again, it'd be too embarrassing. Although Elder Zhao lost the first match, after the second and third matches, he wasn't that disappointed anymore. After all, there were people accompanying him. However, no matter what, he still didn't want Lin Yi to win again. Otherwise, this conspiracy against the Hidden House Han would become the biggest joke in the world. Everyone nodded and didn't say anything else. They left the training field with a heavy expression and went back to prepare for the next match. At this moment, the happiest place in the entire Hidden House Zhao was the Hidden House Han's place. 3 consecutive wins. This result was probably the most dazzling result in the history of the Hidden Noble Houses Summit. In the previous competitions, even if there wasn't any cheating, powerful noble houses like House Yu and House Yu wouldn't be able to win 3 consecutive matches. Boss, you're too awesome. This time, our Hidden House Han is too amazing. Han Xiaopa said proudly. Xiaopa, don't be too proud. This is just the beginning. Wait until Mr. Lin wins all the other matches. That'll be amazing. Han Tianba said. It's not too late for us to celebrate then. Han Tianba looked at Lin Yi's calm face and was even happier. Lin Yi didn't refute him, which meant that Lin Yi had the confidence to continue winning. At noon, after eating a delicious meal prepared by the Hidden House Zhao and resting for a while, the disciple from the Hidden House Zhao came to visit again. Is the old master of the Hidden House Han here? The second match of the day, the solo endurance competition, is about to begin. Old Master Han, please bring your disciples and bets to the meeting hall to register and pay. Han Tianba, Lin Yi, and the others were already familiar with the rules. They took a random treasure and followed the disciple to the meeting hall. In the Hidden House Zhao's meeting hall, Old Master Zhao saw that Han Tianba, Han Xiaopa, and Lin Yi had arrived. He nodded to them and said numbly, the second match of the day is the solo endurance competition. The solo endurance competition is a small formation provided by the ancient sect. Me, Old Master Yu, Old Master Tang, Old Master Yu, and a few other Sky Class Masters will use their Zhen Qi to activate the formation. Our Zhen Qi will be gathered in the formation to form pressure on you. As for the contestants, they will enter the formation and use their own true Qi to fight against the true Qi that we have jointly activated. The one who can resist longer will be the winner. Of course, if you can't take it anymore, you will have to exit the formation. Otherwise, you might get hurt or even die. The Zhen Qi of a Sky Class Master is not to be trifled with. This is a test of endurance. If there are no objections, let's get ready to start. Alright, no problem. And Mingyue smiled and said lightly. The others also said that there were no problems, and they could start. Lin Yi looked at Mingyue with surprise. This guy had been quiet all this time. Lin Yi thought that he was just a supporting character, because the Fire Wolf gang didn't show any signs of winning, and they didn't even get second or third place. Lin Yi had forgotten about this guy. Chapter 2099. However, although Lin Yi was puzzled, he still followed the others to the trial field behind the meeting hall. There was a formation set up in advance. On the trial field, there were some unknown stones and metals, which were probably used to set up the formation. Lin Yi had never seen these things before. It seemed that they were really good stuff borrowed from the ancient sections. The contestants entered the formation one by one. What caught Lin Yi's attention was that the contestant on Mingyue's side was actually a person with a dull and lifeless gaze. This person's lifeless gaze made Lin Yi's heart tremble slightly. He felt that it was a familiar feeling. He seemed to have seen it somewhere before, but he couldn't recall it at the moment. Watching that person enter the formation in a daze, randomly find a place, and sit down cross-legged. He didn't communicate with anyone else. Lin Yi could only withdraw his gaze. The competition was about to start. Naturally, Lin Yi didn't have time to be nosy. However, the contestant from the Fire Wolf gang made Lin Yi feel uncomfortable. Get ready to start. When the horn sounds, we will activate our true qi and activate the formation. Contestants, be careful. Old Master Zhao said. Sure enough, along with the sound of a bugle horn, the array formation was activated, and the participating disciples in the array formation suddenly felt a huge pressure, and a powerful Zhen Qi pressed down on them, making them feel a kind of pressure that they couldn't pass through. Everyone didn't dare to be negligent. They quickly activated their inner force to resist it. This kind of true qi was the true qi of a heaven stage master. It was different from the spiritual qi of heaven and earth. It couldn't be cultivated or absorbed. They could only use their own true qi to resist it. Therefore, it was a very difficult thing to do. This was like two masters competing with their true qi. There was no way to cheat at all. It was a direct confrontation. If one wasn't careful, they could be injured. Lin Yi frowned. He also activated the art of dragon mastery to resist it. The inner force mental cultivation method was activated, and the oppressive feeling from before disappeared in a flash. It seemed that the heaven stage experts who activated the formation had grasped it very accurately, allowing the participating earth stage experts to just resist. If they were a little stronger, they would not be able to resist, and a little weaker. He didn't know how long the competition would last, but this moment was just right. It all depended on who could last longer. Lin Yi did not care about this kind of pressure. He could resist this kind of pressure for 100 years. He directly closed his eyes and entered the space of the jade pendant. A steady stream of energy replenished Lin Yi's consumption. In other words, Lin Yi actually did not consume any of his own Jin Qi. He was completely relying on the energy within the space within the jade pendant to fight against it. She looked at Lin Yi, whose expression did not change at all, like a meditating old monk. Old Master Zhao's expression was a little ugly, although the other participating disciples didn't have any uncomfortable expressions. Wasn't Lin Yi too calm and composed? If this continued, Lin Yi would probably get good results again. This Lin Yi seems to be fine. Do you need us to increase the strength of the Zhen Qi and increase the pressure? Old Master Zhao sighed and asked. That's not good, there are other disciples here. If we increase the pressure, others might not be able to take it. Old Master Yu shook his head and rejected the suggestion. After all, Lin Yi was fine in the beginning. It didn't mean that he would be fine. Okay, then let's wait and see. Old Master Zhao nodded and continued to inject Zhen Qi into the formation. After about the time it took to drink a cup of tea, some of the participating disciples could not hold on any longer. Cold sweat had already appeared on the foreheads of two disciples. It was obvious that they were resisting the pressure head-on, like a strained arrow. Finally, some of them could not hold on any longer. They stood up and quickly ran out of the formation. They breathed heavily, obviously using up a lot of energy. They were exhausted. The competition was important, but if they continued to resist, they would probably get injured. Moreover, they could not hold on any longer. Even if they held on for a little longer, they wouldn't be able to enter the top 3, so they might as well give up. Since someone had taken the lead, other disciples who could not hold on any longer walked out of the formation. These people could not hold on any longer and gave up one after another. Everyone's thoughts were the same. They could not get into the top 3 anyway, so why make it difficult for themselves? Once this psychological barrier collapsed, there was no point in holding on. In the end, there were only 5 people left in the formation. Among them were Lin Yi, the disciples of the Golden Bell Gate, the Hidden House Yu, and the Fire Wolf Gang. Without a doubt, these 5 people were the strongest contenders for the top 3. However, because of Lin Yi's existence, Old Master Zhao, Old Master Yu, and Old Master Tang, who were outside the formation, were very unhappy. How did this kid last until the end? Moreover, among these 5 people, it was obvious who was strong and who was weak. Although the Hidden House Yu and the Hidden House Yu's disciples stayed, they were undoubtedly resisting head-on. The hidden house used disciples relied on their special arts and strong strength to last until now. As for the hidden house they ate a lot of chi replenishing pills before the competition, so they could last until now. But even so, compared to Lin Yi, the Fire Wolf Gang, and the Golden Bell Gate, they were still far behind. I can't. I give up. The house used disciple finally could not hold on any longer, and ran out of the formation, gasping for air. Obviously, he had reached his limit, and could not hold on any longer. Old Yu sighed. It seemed that second and third place were out of the question. Now that there were only 4 contestants left, the competition was naturally more intense. No one wanted to be eliminated, so naturally, they were all holding on. The hidden house used disciple was already sweating profusely, and the Golden Bell Gate's disciple was not much better. Although he cultivated the Golden Bell Shield, with his age and cultivation, he couldn't withstand the pressure of heaven rank for such a long period of time. So he couldn't hold on much longer. Looking at Lin Yi and the Fire Wolf Gang's disciple, both of them were sitting cross-legged, as if nothing had happened. It was as if they were sitting in an ordinary space to rest, not in the formation at all. So the Golden Bell Gate's disciple was waiting for the hidden house used disciple. He did not fight for first or second place. He only wanted to fight for third place. As long as he could rely on the house used disciple, he would be third. And the hidden house used disciple had the same thought. He could not compare to Lin Yi and the Fire Wolf Gang's disciple, but he felt that the Golden Bell Gate's disciple was definitely not having an easy time. So he gritted his teeth and held on. Chapter 2100. However, although Lin Yi was puzzled, he still followed the others to the training field behind the meeting hall. The formation had already been set up in advance. On the training field, there were some unknown stones and metals, probably used to set up the formation. Lin Yi had never seen these things before. It seemed like they were really good stuff borrowed from an ancient sect. The contestants entered the formation one by one. What caught Lin Yi's attention was that the contestant on Mingyue's side was actually a person with lifeless eyes. This person's lifeless eyes made Lin Yi's heart tremble slightly. He felt a sense of familiarity. He felt like he had seen it somewhere before, but he couldn't remember. Looking at that person entering the formation woodenly, he randomly found a place and sat down cross-legged, not interacting with anyone else. Lin Yi could only withdraw his gaze. The competition was about to start. Lin Yi naturally didn't have the time to be nosy, but the contestant from the Fire Wolf Gang made Lin Yi feel uncomfortable. Get ready to start. When the horn sounds, we will activate our true chi and activate the formation. Contestants, please be careful, Elder Zhao said in a low voice. Sure enough, along with the sound of a bugle horn, the formation was activated. The disciples who were participating in the formation suddenly felt a huge pressure. A powerful Zhen Qi pressed down on them, making them feel a kind of pressure that they couldn't pass through. The contestants didn't dare to be negligent. They hurriedly activated their inner chi to resist it. This kind of true chi was the true chi of a heaven rank expert. It was different from the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. It couldn't be controlled. It could only be resisted with one's own true chi. So it was a very difficult thing to do. This was like 2 experts competing with their true chi. There was no need to play tricks. It was a direct confrontation. One could be injured if they weren't careful. Lin Yi frowned. He also activated the art of dragon mastery to resist it. Using his inner chi, the pressure from before disappeared in a flash. It seemed like the heaven rank expert who activated the formation was very accurate, allowing the contestants to resist it. If it was a little stronger, then there would be no way to resist. If it was a little weaker, who knows how long it would take. But right now it was just right. It all depended on who could last longer. Lin Yi, on the other hand, didn't mind. He could withstand this kind of pressure for 100 years. He closed his eyes and entered the space of the jade pendant. The endless energy replenished Lin Yi's energy. In other words, Lin Yi didn't use any of his pure chi at all. He was using the energy in the space of the jade pendant to fight against the pressure. Looking at Lin Yi in the formation, his expression didn't change. Just like an old monk in meditation, Elder Zhao's face became a little ugly. Although the other contestants didn't look uncomfortable, Linny was too calm, wasn't he? If this continued, Linny would probably get a good result again? This Linny seems to be fine. Do we need to increase the strength of our Zhen Qi to increase the pressure? Elder Zhao muttered to himself for a moment before asking. I don't think that's a good idea. There are others here, increasing the pressure. I'm afraid the others won't be able to handle it. Elder Yu shook his head, rejecting the suggestion. After all, Linny being fine in the beginning didn't mean he would be fine all the time. Good, then let's wait and see. Elder Zhao nodded his head and continued to pour his real qi into the formation. After about the time it took to drink a cup of tea, some of the contestants couldn't hold it anymore. 2 of them already had cold sweat on their foreheads, evidently trying to resist it head-on. Finally, someone couldn't hold it anymore, standing up and quickly running out of the formation, gasping for air, evidently using up a lot of stamina. He was exhausted. The competition was important, but if they continued like this, they'd probably get hurt. Plus, they couldn't hold it anymore. Even if they held on a little longer, they wouldn't be able to get into the top 3, so they might as well just give up. Since someone had taken the lead, the others who couldn't hold it anymore walked out of the formation. These people couldn't hold it anymore, and one by one, they gave up. Everyone's thoughts were the same. They couldn't get into the top 3 anyways. Why make it hard for themselves? Once this psychological barrier collapsed, there was no point in holding on. In the end, there were only 5 people left in the formation. Among them were Lin Yi, the Golden Clock Sect, the Hidden House Yu, and the Fire Wolf Gang. Without a doubt, these 5 people were the strongest contenders for the top 3. However, because of Lin Yi's existence, Elder Zhao, Elder Yu, and Elder Tang, who were outside the formation, were all very uneasy. How did this kid last until the end? Moreover, among these 5 people, it was obvious which one was stronger and which one was weaker. Although the Hidden House Yu and the Hidden House Yu stayed, they were undoubtedly holding on. The Hidden House Yu relied on their special mentality and strong strength to hold on until now. The Hidden House Yu, on the other hand, ate a lot of qi replenishing pills before the competition. That's why they held on until now. But even so, compared to Lin Yi, the Fire Wolf Gang, and the Golden Clock Sect, they were still a lot weaker. I can't. I give up. The one from House Yu finally couldn't hold it anymore, running out of the formation, gasping for air, evidently reaching his limit, and couldn't hold on any longer. Old Yu sighed. It seemed that 2nd and 3rd place were out of the question. Now that there were only 4 contestants left, the competition naturally became fiercer. No one wanted to be eliminated, so naturally, they were all holding on. The Hidden House Yu was already sweating profusely, and the Golden Clock Sect wasn't any better. Although he was using the Golden Clock cover, with his age and cultivation, he couldn't hold on for such a long period of time, so he couldn't hold on much longer. Looking at Lin Yi and the Fire Wolf Gang, both of them were sitting cross-legged, as if nothing had happened, as if they weren't affected at all. It was as if they were resting on an empty ground, not in the formation at all. So the Golden Clock Sect was waiting for the Hidden House Yu. He didn't fight for 1st or 2nd place. He only wanted to fight for 3rd place. As long as he could get past the House Yu, he would be 3rd. Chapter 2101. As time passed, the 2's faces went from normal to pale, then to an unnatural redness. Evidently, they had suffered different degrees of internal injuries, but they were still holding on. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was completely fine. He was sitting cross-legged, about to fall asleep. That Lin Yi is definitely not an Earth-class early phase. House Zhao's elder Kuei also saw the problem. An Earth-class early phase could hold on for so long? Wasn't it already too early? Even those Earth-class late phase peak disciples couldn't hold on for so long. And this House Yu's disciple was also an Earth-class late phase peak. Although the one from the Golden Bell sect was a mystic late phase peak, their kung fu was different. There was no comparison. Earth-class early phase? I'm afraid it's more than Earth-class late phase peak. House Yu's elder Kuei laughed coldly. Your family's Zhao Guang isn't wronged. He might not be able to hold on until now. Now, he probably couldn't hold on 10 minutes ago. Elder Zhao shook his head. Lenny is good at pretending to be a tenant to eat the tiger. As expected, this guy must be a sky class. Is he purposely suppressing his strength to play with us? House Yu's Elder Kuei frowned and said suspiciously. SSS. Elder Tang sucked in a breath of cold air. Sky class? Was it real? It couldn't be, right? If he'd known that Lenny was a sky class, he wouldn't have treated Tang Yin like that. He should have acknowledged her and let her bring Lenny back to House Tang. What the hell? This Lenny was really good at pretending. He tricked me. He shouldn't be a sky class. House Yu's Elder Kuei shook his head. It's not that easy to break through to sky class. Lenny is stronger than others of the same level, so he should be an Earth class late phase peak. That's more like it. You scared me. Elder Zhao smiled bitterly. Ah. The contestant from the Yu clan screamed and stumbled out of the formation. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Obviously, he had suffered a serious internal injury. He really couldn't hold on any longer. He couldn't compare to the freaks from the Golden Bell sect. Ah! Just as the disciple of the Yu clan came out, the disciple of the Golden Bell sect also stumbled out of the formation. He also had a mouthful of fresh meat. He didn't feel good either. Although he had the Golden Bell shield, it wasn't enough. Although he was injured, he still got third place. It was worth it. The right disciple Kuei Zi was unwilling, but he didn't do anything. If he came out a second earlier than the opponent, he would still lose. Then why hasn't Lenny come out yet? Yu family's Elder Kuei Yinzi said unwillingly when he saw that his disciple had lost. Who knows? Should we increase the pressure a little more? In any case, there are only 2 of us left. Old Zhao suggested. All right, lure that Lenny out. This time, we can't let Lenny win no matter what. House Yu's Elder Kuei Yinzi nodded. And so, these old Kuei Yinzi exerted their strength at the same time. They increased the strength of their qi and increased the pressure of the formation. Lin Yi, who was in the formation, could clearly feel the sudden increase in pressure. It seemed that the people outside wanted to pressure him. But why would Lenny be afraid of this pressure? There weren't any enemies attacking him here, and he could absorb as much energy as he wanted in the Jade space. It was more than enough to fight against this pressure. Looking at the disciple of the Fire Wolf gang not far away, Lin Yi's lips curved into a cold smile. He closed his eyes and continued to chant the incantation in the Jade space. No way, right? Lenny kid doesn't seem to have any reaction? Old Zhao looked at Lenny strangely. How is that possible? This Lenny, was he really that strong? Increase the strength of your vital energy. Old Right gritted his teeth and said. And so, these old Kuei Yinzi began to increase the strength of their qi, hoping to force Lenny out. This time, if Lenny won, then this summit against the Hidden House Han would be a huge joke. Lenny felt the qi in his body increase again, but he smiled faintly. More. Old Zhao saw that Lenny was fine, so he continued. And so these old Kuei Yinzi began to increase the strength of their qi for the 3rd time. The pressure of the qi in the array had already reached a super strong level, more than double of the previous one. Of course, although the pressure of several heaven rank experts passed through the array, it was impossible to cause any harm to Lin Yi. After all, the qi of those heaven rank experts was evenly distributed in the array, while Lin Yi was only 1 point in the array. No matter how strong it was still evenly distributed. There was a world of difference from being directly attacked by a heaven rank expert. These old Kuei Yinzi only had a small portion of their qi that went to Lin Yi to fight against Lin Yi. The majority of it went to other parts of the array and was wasted. Lin Yi once again felt that the qi pressure around him had increased a lot, but this level of pressure, Lin Yi really didn't put it in his eyes. Although Lin Yi had to use more qi to fight against it, this qi came from the space in the jade pendant. It was endless. Lin Yi just sat there with his eyes closed, and he could continuously absorb the energy from the space in the jade pendant to fight against the pressure. This isn't right, this Lin Yi. Just how strong is he? He's still fine? Old Yu Yinzi finally felt that something was wrong. This was too exaggerated, wasn't it? The other Earth-class disciples, even those at the peak of the late phase, couldn't withstand the initial pressure. But Lin Yi, under the continuous increase of the qi strength of these old Kuei Yinzi, he still didn't seem to care. Old Yu Yinzi, what do you think about this? Old Zhao looked at Old Ancestor Yu and asked. Old Ancestor Yu was an old sky class, and he had seen a lot of things. He could only ask him about this strange situation. This doesn't make sense. Old Yu Yinzi shook his head. He didn't know what was going on with Lin Yi. Could it be that this Lin Yi was already a sky class, and he had been pretending to be a tenant all this time? Why don't we use our full strength? Old Tang's eyes flashed with hatred. This Lin Yi made House Tang lose face at his birthday banquet. Although not many people knew about this, only House Yu, Sky Elixir Sect, and Ice Palace knew about it. But Old Tang's hatred towards Lin Yi didn't decrease. He especially regretted that he didn't pull Tang Yin to his side, causing her to separate from House Tang. Otherwise, if Lin Yi really was a sky class, then he would be the son-in-law of the hidden House Tang. How strong would the hidden House Tang be? Chapter 2102. When they were discussing how to kill Lin Yi, Elder Tang wasn't very enthusiastic. After all, the grudge between House Tang and Lin Yi couldn't be revealed. Back then, Elder Tang didn't know that Lin Yi was this strong, so he didn't think that Lin Yi would be a threat to the hidden House Tang. But now, it was different. He was afraid that Lin Yi would take revenge, so he wanted to use this chance to kill Lin Yi. Go all out. Old Master Zhao was slightly stunned, but he nodded and said, "Good idea. No problem." Elder Yu and Elder Yu nodded as well. Elder Yu and Elder Zhao were in-laws, while Elder Yu and Elder Tang were in-laws. They all had some grudges with Lin Yi, so they didn't mind using this chance to kill Lin Yi. Since the four of them had come to an agreement, the next moment, they raised their chi to the pinnacle. At that moment, the strength of Sky Class was revealed, and the chi poured into the formation like a tidal wave. Lin Yi immediately frowned. Although this formation had already dispersed the pressure of the true chi from the few heaven-rank elders outside, it still brought a lot of pressure to Lin Yi when they activated it with all their strength. Even if the pressure wasn't as strong as Sky Class, it could still reach the peak of Earth Class late phase, or perhaps even stronger. Lin Yi smiled coldly, as he felt the pressure on his body increase. He knew that the four old things outside had the intention to kill him. This hidden house summit had its own rules, and unless it was absolutely necessary, they wouldn't break the rules. After all, there were ancient people watching from above. But this kind of dirty trick to kill Lin Yi wasn't part of the rules. If Lin Yi couldn't handle the pressure of the formation and died, even the ancient people wouldn't question him. After all, this was considered overestimating one's strength in the competition. If you can't handle it, then leave. No one forced you to stay in the formation. You can come out whenever you want. But since you don't want to come out and court your own death, you can't blame anyone else. Lin Yi opened his eyes and glanced at the participant from the Fire Wolf gang. A strange smile appeared on his face as he stood up and quickly walked out of the array. Phew. When Lin Yi walked out of the formation, House Zhao, House Yu, House Tang, and House Yu let out a breath of relief. Since Lin Yi couldn't take the pressure anymore, he probably wasn't a sky class yet, or at most an early phase. I've finally made this kid lose once. It wasn't easy. Old Master Zhao snorted coldly and said, he had just broken through to Heaven's stage not long ago, and his realm had yet to stabilize, so he had used too much true chi before, causing him to feel exhausted. Although it wasn't the four of us who won, at least it's a good start. We've successfully turned the bad luck around. Old Master Yu said. Han Tianba and Han Xiaopa were surprised that Lin Yi couldn't last until the end. After all, they saw that Lin Yi was holding on, and he looked so calm and composed. Naturally, they thought that Lin Yi would be the last one to come out of the formation. They didn't expect that Lin Yi would be the second last one to come out. Although this result was unexpected, it wasn't too disappointing. After all, Lin Yi was the champion of every competition, and that wasn't too realistic. Second place was already good enough. At least he didn't have to lose his family's bet. When Lin Yi came out, it meant that the competition was over. The last person who didn't come out of the formation would be the winner. Therefore Old Master Zhao, Old Master Yu, Old Master Yu, and Old Master Tang stopped infusing true chi into the formation at the same time. Old Master Zhao walked over proudly, and his proud eyes swept across the disciples. and finally stopped on Han Tianba, Han Xiaopa, and Lin Yi. He smiled and said, "The winner of this individual endurance competition is the Fire Wolf Gang. The second place is the Hidden Han family, and the third place is the Golden Bell sect." Wait. Just when the two sects were about to come forward to collect their bets, Lin Yi spoke. "Why, Lin Yi, what's the matter? Are you not satisfied with this result?" Old Master Zhao looked at Lin Yi and asked coldly. "Of course I'm not satisfied." Lin Yi looked at Old Master Zhao indifferently. "The result is out. What else do you have to say? You were the second last to come out. Do you have any objections to the ranking?" Old Master Zhao frowned. He thought that Lin Yi wanted to say that the formation's power increased in the later stages, but it didn't matter. Even if Lin Yi said it, Old Master Zhao would still have something to say. "Of course I have something to say. May I ask, why is the pressure different from before in the formation? Why is the pressure getting stronger and stronger?" Lin Yi asked coldly. In fact, when Lin Yi came out of the formation, it wasn't because the pressure was getting stronger. If Lin Yi used all his strength to resist, he would naturally be able to resist for a while. However, the reason why Lin Yi came out was because he had other plans, and Lin Yi didn't want to forcefully resist and get hurt. Oh, about that. Old Master Zhao seemed to have expected that Lin Yi would ask this question. He said faintly, "The power before was relatively small to eliminate most of the participants. After that, the remaining participants are all strong. If we want to determine the winner as soon as possible, we naturally have to increase the pressure. Otherwise, when can the winner be determined? There is another competition in the evening. If we drag it on like this, won't it delay the competition in the evening?" "Oh, I see." Lin Yi nodded and looked at Old Master Zhao sarcastically. He said, "I thought you deliberately wanted to kill people." "Nonsense. How could we deliberately want to kill people?" Old Master Zhao snorted. "That's right, I knew it. How big of a grudge is this? To be able to use this kind of method to kill without leaving a trace. It's amazing." Lin Yi smiled and nodded. "Do you have any questions? If there's no problem, let's start receiving the prize." Old Master Zhao said impatiently. "Yes," Lin Yi said. "There's another problem. Your ranking is wrong." "The ranking is wrong? How is it wrong?" Old Master Zhao asked. "The first place should be me representing the Hidden Han family," Lin Yi said. "Lin Yi, you want to be the champion so much that you are crazy, right? Even if you've been in the lead and won a few matches in a row, it doesn't mean that you're the champion of all the matches, right?" Elder Zhao said, amused. "Lin Yi, are you sick? Then I want to ask you, Old Master Zhao, if I am not the champion, who is the champion?" Lin Yi asked. Chapter 2103. "Oh, this is the first time I've heard that a female can be the champion. What an eye-opener." Lin Yi shook his head, as if he had just realized something. "What nonsense, what are you talking about? What female?" Elder Zhao stared blankly for a moment. Then, he looked towards the formation, and saw that the Fire Wolf Gang disciple was still sitting cross-legged in the formation. He didn't even come out. Previously, everyone was only concerned about who the champion would be, but they had neglected the situation of the Fire Wolf Gang disciple. Only now did they realize the problem. "You guys increased your pressure and suppressed the Fire Wolf Gang disciple. I was quite puzzled. I thought you guys were purposely trying to shoot him, but I didn't expect it to be a competition. There's nothing we can do about it, he's not as skilled as you are. So what if he gets shot?" Lin Yi said, "Since he got shot, then the champion should be mine, right?" This, Elder Zhao's face darkened. He didn't expect this to happen. And Mingyue, who was about to take away her winnings, stopped in her tracks. She quickly turned around and walked towards the Fire Wolf Gang disciple. When she saw what was happening, her expression changed. She looked at Elder Zhao coldly. "Elder Zhao, what is the meaning of this? Why haven't I heard of it before? There's a rule of temporarily increasing the pressure? The previous pressure was agreed to be constant. That was why the Fire Wolf Gang sent out a biohuman. This was a biohuman test subject, created by Professor Yin's mentor-disciple system. His resistance to pressure was naturally stronger than ordinary people, but he was still a test subject after all. It was impossible for him to resist the pressure indefinitely. It was just that this test subject didn't know pain under the pressure. After the competition ended, this biohuman would be considered a useless person, but he would definitely not get shot. Now old Zhao, Ingzi, and the others had suddenly increased their aura, causing the biohuman to be affected. Naturally, and Mingyue was unhappy and furious. She had said that the Fire Wolf gang was the local tyrant here. If there were any benefits, she had to give them some. Therefore, and Mingyue had thought for a long time before she thought of using this kind of cyborg to participate in the competition. After all, this cyborg was a person that had been transformed by a creature. He did not have any will or thoughts. If he was to stay in the formation, no matter how painful it was, he would not come out on his own. But now he was a slut. How could a slut accept an award? This was equivalent to having an accident in the middle of a match, and was automatically disqualified. It was even more impossible to win. Mr. N, we didn't make this clear in advance. I'm sorry, we'll pay for your losses. Elder Yu sighed deeply. At this point, he had no choice but to compromise and appease in Mingyue. And Mingyue, they could stand up to a family that wasn't even one of the 5 lesser aristocratic families. What was there for a hidden aristocratic family to fear? However, and Mingyue wasn't representing Housen, but the Fire Wolf gang. The Fire Wolf gang was a powerful sect. Although it was only established recently, there were many masters in the group. Even the ancient sects didn't dare to challenge them. It could be said that there were many sky-class masters in the Fire Wolf gang. Who would dare to be a member of this kind of big gang that was both black and white? Moreover, this Fire Wolf gang frequently used unconventional methods, using some methods to transform people into humans. It was practically comparable to the sects of the pugilistic world. Therefore, not to mention the Hidden Yu clan, even the sects of the pugilistic world wouldn't dare to oppose the Fire Wolf gang. So in this situation, they could only give up some benefits to appease in Mingyue. Alright, if that's the case, I hope you can give me a satisfactory answer. And Mingyue said faintly, if the Fire Wolf gang's disciple wins, then the ranking of the competition will be determined accordingly. First place goes to the Hidden Han family, second place goes to the Golden Clock sect, third place goes to the Hidden Right family. Old Zhao had no choice but to announce the results. At this time, the happiest ones were Han Tianba and Han Xiaopa. They were originally in second place, but now they had become the champion. This joy came too quickly, and they finally knew why Lin Yi walked out of the formation. It turned out that Lin Yi already knew that the other contestant had already won. Since it was already a contestant, what was the point of fighting? On the other hand, Old Yu was ecstatic. Initially, the Hidden Right clan had been eliminated from the top 3, but now, they had unexpectedly returned to the top 3. This allowed the Hidden Right clan to slightly reverse the situation. Of course, the matter of privately raising the pressure of the formation was shared by the 4 heaven rank elders. When the time comes, they would have to give Mingyue an explanation. Perhaps they would have to pay some good things. But this was a matter between the 4 families. Naturally, the Right elder was not too worried. I knew it, boss would definitely win. For consecutive championships, haha. This Hidden House Summit is really tailor-made for you, boss. It's like giving our Hidden Han family a treasure. Han Xiaopa said with a laugh. After hearing Han Xiaopa's words, the faces of those old bastards and sect leaders, who had seized control of the Han family's assets, turned extremely unsightly. This was a slap in the face, a blatant slap in the face. Originally, the competition and rules that they had set up were all targeted at the Han family. But now it had become tailor-made for them. This was simply infuriating. Alright, the Hidden Han clan will take back their winnings. The Golden Bell sect and the Hidden Right clan will take back their things. Old Zhao said in a sinister tone. Lin Yi glanced at the wager between the Golden Clock sect and the Hidden Zhao family. The Golden Clock sect's wager was the small rejuvenating pill that they had previously obtained, while the Hidden Right family's wager was a foundation establishment pill. The small rejuvenating pill was useless to Lin Yi, so it was something that Lin Yi had exchanged for. Hence, Lin Yi wasn't interested in it. On the other hand, the foundation establishment pill was a type of pill that could change a cultivator's physique. Its main use was to allow those who had missed the best period of cultivation to take this pill and re-embark on the path of cultivation. Back then, Zhao Qi had used a foundation establishment pill in order to cultivate his puppet refinement. Although this thing looked precious, to Lin Yi, it was just a piece of trash that took up space in his hands. For Lin Yi, to improve a cultivator's strength, regardless of physique or aptitude, as long as he could use the heart-nurturing chant, he could instantly improve his strength. Hence, this foundation establishment pill was completely useless. I won't be exchanging this time. You guys can take back your things, Lin Yi said as he collected his wager. Whether it was Old Yu of the Hidden House Yu or Jin Gang of the Golden Clock sect, they all believed that Lin Yi was an alchemist. Alchemy didn't have any attraction to him, so this result wasn't surprising at all. They silently kept their things. Chapter 2104. There was no one here that he could get along with. Lin Yi didn't have the time to waste with them. Since he had gotten what he wanted, he might as well go back and rest. He needed to prepare for the next match. After Lin Yi left, and Mingyue looked at Elder Zhao, Elder Yu, and Elder Tang with a dark face. The four of you. What is the meaning of this? Aren't you going to give me an explanation? What is going on? If you don't give me an explanation, I can't help but suspect that you did it on purpose. This, Old Master Zhao smiled bitterly and said, Mr. N, don't be angry. We were a bit inappropriate in this matter, but our starting point was good. Oh, what intentions? And Mingyue asked. Our original intention was to kill Lin Yi. Elder Yu explained. We just didn't think that it would affect Mr. An's people. Kill Lin Yi. And Mingyue wasn't stupid. After Elder Yu's explanation, he understood the reason, but he was still a little angry. If that's the case, then this is considered an accident. I understand, but the Fire Wolf Gang might not understand. Besides, I already said that I would win a bet. It's fine if the disciple dies, but we can't just lose the bet, right? The four of us will make up for the bet. Elder Yu said helplessly. Okay, if that's the case, then this matter is over. And Mingyue nodded and left without another word. Sigh, we went for wool and came home shorn. Elder Tang sighed. Yeah, it was a little reckless. Old Man Zhao also said. Forget it, let's not talk about this. The next match is the antidote match. Elder Tang, this match will depend on our true abilities. Elder Yu said. This competition could be considered a common benefit for the Hidden Yu family and the Hidden Tang family. One of these two families started by refining medicine, while the other started by making poison. They were both very good at detoxification. Therefore, it was hard to say who would win the next competition. Okay, let's go home and make some preparations. Elder Tang nodded his head. Lin Yi, on the other hand, had a nonchalant expression on his face after winning the tournament 4 times in a row. Han Xiaopa, on the other hand, was extremely excited, as if he'd received a huge benefit. He couldn't stop talking as soon as he got back. That's enough, little puh. Let Mr. Lin have a good rest. There's still a match tonight. Han Tianba knew that this endurance competition was the most exhausting. If he didn't rest well, how would he have the energy to continue the competition at night? Of course, what he didn't know was that Lin Yi didn't use any energy at all. He had been using the energy in the space in the jade pendant. It's fine. Let him speak. Lin Yi said indifferently. Boss, you're too awesome. I'll have to rely on you for guidance in the future. You're an all-rounder. You know everything. Han Xiaopa said excitedly. Genius. Actually, I know a real genius. Lin Yi shook his head. He didn't know if he was a genius, but he knew that although his success was partly due to the art of dragon mastery, a large part of it was due to his hard work in cultivating day and night. No cultivator would be more hardworking than Lin Yi. From the moment he obtained the art of dragon mastery, he cultivated day and night. Even now, he still cultivated every day. He would cultivate whenever he had time. Genius. To be called a genius by boss, what kind of demonic existence is that? Han Xiaopa said in surprise. Her surname is also Han. Lin Yi laughed. So, you have to work hard too. Her surname is also Han? Han Xiaopa was slightly stunned. She's actually from the same family? That's right. If there's a chance, I'll introduce her to you. When that time comes, you'll know what a genius is. Linny said. At night, the Hidden House Zhao's disciples brought over exquisite dishes as well. The Hidden House Zhao never made things difficult for Linny when it came to these trivial matters. And they didn't cause any trouble for him when it came to food and living. It could be seen that although the Hidden Zhao family hated Lin Yi to the core, they still put in enough effort on the surface. This also made Lin Yi feel a lot more at ease. At least, the Hidden Zhao family didn't want to go against him in this hidden family summit. Even today, they only did things in the dark. They wouldn't go against Lin Yi openly. This was enough. Anyway, after the competition, Lin Yi would leave. What could the Hidden Zhao family do to him? After dinner, the Hidden Zhao family disciple from before appeared again. Is Family Head Han here? Today's third competition, the poison identification competition, is about to begin. Family Head Han, please bring the participating disciples and bets to the meeting room. Let's go. Han Tianba nodded and left the room with Lin Yi and Han Xiaopa. Boss, do you have confidence in this competition? Han Xiaopa asked in a low voice. Poison identification? I have some understanding of this. Lin Yi smiled and said calmly. It shouldn't be a big problem. That's good. Let's take first place again, and show those hidden aristocratic families that our Hidden Han family is the best with our big boss around. That's good. Take first place again, and let those hidden families see that our Hidden Han family is the best with our boss around. Han Xiaopa was even more confident than Lin Yi. Han Tianba shook his head. He felt like he was dreaming. Just half a month ago, Han Tianba was still worried about the Hidden Han family's future. He was worried about the Hidden Family's summit. But now, the Hidden Family had become a dark horse, taking first place. The funniest thing was that those Hidden Families hated Lin Yi to death, but they didn't dare to do anything to Lin Yi in the open. They only dared to do bad things in the dark. In the end, they went for wool and came home shorn. Lin Yi exposed them and made them offend the Fire Wolf gang for no reason. Xiaopa, I can help you hide the Han family this time. The other hidden families don't dare to do anything because they're afraid of me. They're afraid of my trump card, and they're afraid of my background. Lin Yi was very clear about this. He said to Han Xiaopa, so, after the Hidden Family Summit, your Hidden Han family must keep a low profile. Don't let those hidden families have anything to use against you. Because of me, they won't dare to do anything to you in the open. But in the dark, they won't let you go. The pressure they used on me in the previous competition is proof. Chapter 2105. Han Tianba was a little surprised that Lin Yi had already realized this. Han Tianba had wanted to give Han Xiaopa some advice after the competition, but he hadn't expected Lin Yi to say it first. But that was fine too. It was obvious that Han Xiaopa trusted Lin Yi more now. What your hidden house needs to do next is rest and train hard. Since you have money, don't get involved in the business of the hidden houses. Lin Yi said, I'll help you step by step, but I'm afraid I won't be able to help much at the moment. Once your house has more Earth-class late-phase peak fighters, then you'll be able to stabilize your position as a hidden house. If you're lucky enough to break through to Sky class, then you might even become the leader of the hidden houses. Han Xiaopa nodded and fell into deep thought. As for the materials for the Qi gathering pill, if possible, try to collect as many as you can. Lin Yi said. All right. Han Xiaopa didn't know why Lin Yi wanted so many materials, but the fate of the hidden house was now tied to Lin Yi's. Only when Lin Yi became stronger would the hidden house rise. They arrived at the Zhao house's meeting room and registered the names of the participants and their bets. When they saw that the hidden house's name was still Lin Yi's, no one was surprised. They were getting used to it. This competition is a poison identification competition. Old Master Zhao waited for everyone to finish registering and take their seats before he slowly said, the rules of the competition are very simple. We have 100 sets of poisons made from various poisonous insects and plants. They will be placed in the computer's poison dispenser. The dispenser will randomly select 10 types of poisons from these 100 types of poisons and mix them into a new type of poison. The mixing will be random, and everyone's concoction method will be different. This also avoids the possibility of cheating by memorizing the poison recipe beforehand. After the poison was created, the contestants would randomly draw lots to choose a set of poisons to identify within a specified time. The contestant who identified the most poisons correctly would be the winner. Of course, you can only list 10 poisons at most. If you list a bunch of poisons with the intention of testing the waters, you will automatically forfeit if you list more than 10. That can't be right, right? Han Xiaopa raised his doubts again. What objection do you have? Old Master Zhao looked at Han Xiaopa unhappily. Why was he the most troublesome? There's a loophole in your rules. If there are more than one contestant, and all of them are correct, how are they going to win? Han Xiaopa was a very smart person, and liked to study loopholes in the rules. All correct. Old Zhao frowned. Do you think it's possible? These poisonous insects and plants were strange. Even the disciples of the Hidden Tang family and the Hidden Yu family might not be able to identify all of them in a short period of time. They might even make mistakes. Therefore, even if there was one who identified all of them correctly, it would be a coincidence. How could there be more than one? What? How about this? If there's someone who's as correct as my boss, then my boss wins? Han Xiaopa asked. How do you know Lin Yi will win before the match? Old Master Zhao sneered and said, I think you have been blinded by the previous victory. Do you think that the future victory belongs to your family? Although Lin Yi's medical skills were very good, Old Master Zhao knew this very well. But no matter how good he was, could he be as good as someone else's specialized research? If there are more than one who are all correct, then the time of identification will prevail. Old Master Yu added, Not bad. Do you have any other questions? Old Master Zhao nodded and asked. No. Han Xiaopa said with satisfaction. In that case, all contestants get ready to start the match. Old Master Zhao said. Prepare the poison machine, and start preparing the poison. Contestants, draw lots here. In these details, it was impossible to cheat. With so many pairs of eyes watching, Lin Yi randomly drew a lot and walked to the side. Everyone else did the same. Everyone went to draw lots directly. They didn't touch anything. Obviously, they didn't want others to mistakenly think that they wanted to cheat. After the lots were drawn, there were still half of the tags left in the bucket. And these tags also had the corresponding poison on the poison dispenser. However, no one drew it, so it was naturally useless. This was also for the fairness of the competition. Each contestant received their own small bottle from the poison machine, according to their own tag. They walked to the side and sat down to start identifying the poison inside. Identification was Lin Yi's strength. When he was young, Lin Yi almost grew up in a pile of medicinal herbs. Old Master Zhao gave him this kind of problem every day. Whether it was poisonous insects or poisonous herbs, there was almost nothing that Lin Yi couldn't identify unless it was something very special. For example, something like the fire spirit's fruit that he had never seen before. However, it was impossible for such a precious item to appear in the competition of the Hidden House Summit. Using such a precious item as the content of the test, and mixing it with poison, was simply a waste of a heavenly treasure. Even if a house won, it wouldn't be worth it. Therefore, Lin Yi only tasted the poison in the bottle and spat it out. Then, he used his qi to force the remaining poison out of his mouth. He quickly picked up a pen and wrote the names of 10 poisonous insects and poisonous herbs on the paper. Then he stood up and indicated that he was done. Seeing that Lin Yi was the first to stand up, Old Master Zhao's face twitched. Wasn't this too fast? Old Master Tang and Old Master Yu were also shocked. For Lin Yi to come out so early, there were only two possibilities. Either he gave up, or he had already completed the identification. But would Lin Yi give up? Based on their understanding of Lin Yi wouldn't give up easily. Not only would he not give up, but he would also try his best to fight for first place. Boss, seeing that Lin Yi stood up, Han Xiaopa hurriedly went up to him. Is it done? More or less. Lin Yi didn't have much pride on his face. This was his strength. If he won, then he won. There was nothing to brag about. However, the previous few matches made Lin Yi spend a lot of effort. This match, however, didn't have any suspense. Regardless of whether Lin Yi gave up or completed the identification, the disciples of the Hidden Yu family and Tang family couldn't sit still. The second to come out was the disciple of the Hidden Tang family, and the disciple of the Hidden Yu family followed closely behind. Chapter 2106. Translator, Ryuxinji Editor. H2DH2 Mr. Once three people walked out, the others did not follow. Firstly, their ability to identify was not that strong. Secondly, if all three of them identified correctly, then the top three would already be out. It would be impossible for them to be in the top three even if they came out again. They might as well wait until the end of the competition. And if one of these three people did not get it all right, and the remaining people got it all right, they could also replace them. When the time was up, these people left. At this time, Old Master Zhao pressed a few buttons on the computer. Then, the big screen showed the poison formulas of each set. They were all different and were all random. The Zhao family disciples, who were the emissaries of the summit, also began to compare the answers of each contestant with the big screen for grading. Soon the top three names were out. What was more dramatic was that the top three were all identified correctly. In this way, the ranking would indeed be judged according to the time they took to identify the poison. Lin Yi first place, Hidden Tang family second place, Hidden Yu family third place. This name made everyone speechless. Lin Yi won again, and it was with an absolute advantage. Lin Yi used less than 1/3 of the time of the competition, and no matter how fast the Yu family and Tang family were, they still used nearly half of the time. Who was better and who was worse was obvious. Although this result made Old Master Zhao very unhappy, he had to announce, the champion is the Hidden Han family, the second is the Hidden Tang family, and the third is the Hidden Yu family. All families, please come and collect your bets. The Hidden Yu family took out the previous building foundation pill, which Lin Yi directly ignored. However, the Hidden Tang family took out a detoxification pill, which attracted Lin Yi's attention. Lin Yi also had the formula for this detoxification pill. It did not need to be refined, and only needed to be mixed with some herbs. Strictly speaking, it belonged to the zero-grade pill that alchemists talked about. It could be made without the foundation of alchemy. Of course, although this detoxification pill was easy to make, some of the herbs needed were very rare. Although Lin Yi had the formula, he did not have some of the more precious herbs. Old Man Lin's herb garden could not be planted due to the climate, so Lin Yi had not been able to successfully concoct it. This antidote pill was very powerful. As long as it wasn't a heaven-defying poison, it could cure anything, including the deadly 7 herbs poison that Pin Liang made. That was why Lin Yi was tempted. Old Man Tang, for the sake of your grandson, I'll exchange the antidote with you. What do you want? Lin Yi didn't know why, but he had an inexplicable good impression of Tang Yu. If it weren't for the fact that Lin Yi's sexual orientation was straight, he might even think that he was looking for a gay friend. However, Lin Yi didn't understand why he had such a feeling, so his attitude towards Old Man Tang was quite good. If Lin Yi knew that this old man wanted to kill him, he wouldn't be so nice to him. For the sake of my grandson? Grandfather Tang was slightly surprised. Why is it my grandson? Shouldn't it be my granddaughter? However, after a slight pause, Grandfather Tang misunderstood. He thought that Lin Yi was calling him a grandson. However, this wasn't the time to argue. Since Lin Yi was giving him a choice, he would be an idiot if he gave up. After all, the wager for this match really contained something that he had hidden. It was a poisonous insect from the Qianshan sect. The Qianshan sect was good at raising spirit beasts, so it was easy for them to get their hands on poisonous insects. I want the heaven grass insect that the Qianshan sect took out, Grandfather Tang said. Oh, I'll give it to you. Lin Yi didn't want this thing anymore. He'd just throw it away if he brought it back. It was useless to him, so he'd give it to old Tang if he wanted it. Grandfather Tang gave the antidote pill to Lin Yi in exchange for an antidote pill. It was better to be safe than sorry. If he left it at home, and the miss or little Shu got poison, they would be fine. Lin Yi, I also want to exchange something with you. Is that possible? Grandfather Yu hesitated for a moment and said to Lin Yi, I don't need the foundation establishment pill. I will use something else to exchange for the focus meditation jade bracelet in your hand. You are third place. Let's not talk about the fact that you don't have the right to exchange. Even if you were second place, I wouldn't exchange with you. You always use trash as a wager. If you had taken out something good, I might have taken the initiative to exchange with you. However, I'm not interested now. After Linny finished speaking, he kept the wager into his pocket. This focus meditation jade bracelet. If grandfather you didn't remind Linny, he wouldn't have been able to think of any use for it. He just felt that it was a little familiar. However, when grandfather you wanted to exchange, Linny thought of Zhang Liju's notes. He seemed to have mentioned this item. It helped the refiner stabilize the refiner's fire. So of course Linny wouldn't exchange such a good thing with House Yu. Even if Linny couldn't use it, there was still Han Jingjing waiting in line. Grandfather Yu was angry. If he knew that Lin Yi didn't want this foundation establishment pill, he wouldn't have taken it out as a wager. However, who would have thought that Lin Yi would win so many matches in a row, even winning the poison identification match? I'm going back to sleep. I've gained a lot. Lin Yi took the item and left. Han Tianba and Han Xiaopa smiled and left with Lin Yi. Motherfucker. Grandfather, you couldn't help but curse. It was too infuriating. After so many matches, his people didn't win a single one. On the other hand, Lin Yi won continuously. This is strange. Grandfather Tang frowned. Why is this Lin Yi so strong? Let's see. In tomorrow's match, Lin Yi might not be his strong point. Grandfather Zhao said and looked at Diamond and Mingyue. That's right. In terms of endurance, no one can take more hits than our Golden Clock sect. Diamond said. Hee, my people are also very good at taking hits. And Mingyue lost a match before. Although she received compensation afterward, it was still a little embarrassing. She hoped to stand out again. Okay, if that's the case, then we definitely can't let Lin Yi win again tomorrow. Grandfather Yu nodded. Both of you, no matter which one of you wins, you just can't let Lin Yi win again. If this goes on, we'll really lose a lot of face. No problem. Diamond nodded. Hee, of course. And Mingyue also smiled and nodded. Chapter 2107. Is the head of the hidden house Han here? The first match of the day is about to begin. Head Han, please bring the participants and the wager to the meeting room. The three of them were already very familiar with this procedure. If it had been other participating families, they might have been busy for a while. After all, every time they went out to participate, they would be different. But for the hidden Han family, it was always these three who fought in every competition. They went all the way to the meeting room of House Zhao. Han Tianba registered Lin Yi's name, paid the wager, and sat in his seat, waiting for Elder Zhao to announce the rules. Alright, since everyone is here, I'll introduce the first match of the day, the fight against each other. The fight against each other is very simple. The contestants stand here and get hit by people of Golden Class, Mystic Class, Earth Class, or Sky Class. Whoever can take the highest level of attack wins. Elder Zhao said. Of course, if you don't have the ability, don't choose a level that's too high. As the saying goes, if you don't have the ability, don't do porcelain work. If you don't have the ability, you can't take responsibility if you die. Elder Zhao's words were clever, but it was a bit biased towards the Golden Bell sect. His hint was very obvious. This match was a diamond's dish. Those who didn't have the ability shouldn't even think about fighting, lest they lose their lives. This is a testing tool borrowed from an ancient sect. There's a roulette on it, and it can be adjusted to different strength levels, from the early phase of the Golden Class, all the way to the peak of the late phase of the Sky Class. Every small strength level has a strict classification. Elder Zhao continued. It's still me, Elder Yu, and Elder Tang putting in chi to make this tool work. Of course, there's a strict level division on it, so there's no chance of cheating. In other words, if we don't put in enough chi, the tool won't work. If we put in too much chi, it'll be useless, because the tool will still send out attacks of a set level, and the extra chi will be wasted. As for peak late-stage heaven rank, we don't have the ability to activate it, so you don't have to choose. Of course, this isn't the only choice. For example, If you choose the early phase of the golden class and realize that you can tank it, you can choose a higher level. But I don't recommend everyone to do that. If you don't tank it, you'll take a certain amount of damage and use up a certain amount of stamina. It's not good for the future, so it's better for everyone to take advantage of it and choose a safe level. Furthermore, there's one more thing. You can't use any magical treasures or tools. Because he was criticized for temporarily increasing the pressure in the formation last time, Old Man Zhao was much more cautious this time. He mainly couldn't offend the Fire Wolf Gang, let alone the Golden Bell sect. And the last one was added at the last minute to deal with Lin Yi. Lin Yi had gotten himself a set of low-grade golden cicada underwear. If he wore it, he would be invincible under the Earth rank. How could they let him wear it? Therefore, he directly banned the use of Dharma treasures and props, leaving Lin Yi to participate in the competition by himself. Not bad, this is fair. Han Xiaopa didn't find anything wrong with it after listening, so he nodded and said. As for Han Xiaopa, he didn't think that the ban on using Dharma treasures and props was added at the last minute. You may not win even if it's fair. This is using your own body to take the blow. If you choose wrongly, you will die in vain. Old Man Zhao said faintly. Does anyone have any objections? No, let's begin. Lin Yi said faintly, as if this competition was set up for Lin Yi, which made Old Man Zhao very unhappy. However, he didn't pay attention to Lin Yi. In his opinion, Lin Yi was just showing off. How could Lin Yi win this competition? Lin Yi didn't have any external martial arts that could resist attacks. He even treated a set of low-grade golden cicada underwear as a treasure. What ability could he have to resist attacks? Okay, now participants, please draw lots. Come and compete one by one according to the order you drew. Old Man Zhao said. After the participants heard Old Man Zhao's words, they all walked out to draw lots. Lin Yi looked at his lot, he was ranked 4th. I give up. The first person to go on stage was from the Hidden Tang family. He didn't choose to test his rank, he directly gave up. This was the strategy that Old Man Tang had set before. This competition of resistance attacks was completely different from the previous endurance competition. In the endurance competition, if you couldn't hold on, you could withdraw. If you couldn't hold on, you would die. The Hidden Tang family didn't have any martial arts that could resist attacks, nor did they have any good treasures that could resist attacks. Therefore, rather than choosing to take the pain of the yellow rank and still not winning, it was better to just give up. I give up too. The second person to go on stage was from the Qianshan sect. The Qianshan sect was a sect that raised spirit beasts. They didn't practice any resistance attacks at all. When they fought against others, they mostly used spirit beasts, so their individual strength wasn't very strong. I give up too. The third person to go on stage was from the Hidden House Pie. The Hidden House Pie had wanted to get the low-grade golden cicada underwear from the Golden Clock sect for this competition, but the treasure was taken by Lin Yi. How could they participate? Just because they had a strong fist didn't mean that their body could resist attacks. Plus, Old Man Zhao added a rule that they couldn't use treasures, which made Old Man Pie very happy. This Lin Yi had gotten a treasure for free, but he couldn't use it. He'd probably die from anger, right? What he didn't know was that Lin Yi didn't even use the low-grade golden cicada underwear. That was something that Lin Yi brought back for someone else to use. It was something that had been worn by someone else, so Lin Yi had to clean it and disinfect it before using it. How could he wear it now? We, the Hidden House Zhuang, also give up. The Zhuang family walked around the stage and said the same. It could be seen that the disciples of the hidden houses weren't idiots. This kind of competition where one could easily get hurt or die, they all stayed away from it. And now it was Lin Yi's turn. This made Lin Yi depressed. Lin Yi wanted to see what rank the Golden Clock sect would choose, so that he could increase it or keep it the same. But Lin Yi didn't think that he, the 5th place, would become the 1st place. Without a choice, Lin Yi walked up to the stage and looked at the options on the stage. I choose Earth Class Mid-Stage. Chapter 2108. As a result, Lin Yi wasn't worried about getting killed in one hit with just pure chi. Alright, Old Man Zhao nodded, and set the roulette on the tool to Mid-Earth Class. Then he said expressionlessly, Stand still, we're going to instill true qi and activate the tool. I'm ready, Linny said. Let's begin. With that, Elder Zhao placed his palm on the spot where the qi was channeled into the item, and Elder Yu, and Elder Tang placed their palms on the spot as well, channeling their qi at the same time. The progress bar on the item instantly reached Earth Class mid-phase, but it didn't increase anymore. In a split second, a huge arm shot out from the item, and with a loud bang, it hit Lin Yi's chest, sending him flying away. Lin Yi didn't resist, because Lin Yi knew that the more he resisted, the more serious his injuries would be. It was better for him to fly away with the force of the attack. That way, even if he got hurt, it wouldn't be too serious. This attack really had the power of an Earth Class mid-phase. These ancient sect items were really strange, and Lin Yi couldn't help but be amazed. Although this attack had caused Lin Yi some internal injuries, it wasn't life-threatening. After landing, Lin Yi stood up, indicating that he wasn't dead yet. According to the rules of the competition, he had completed the Earth Class mid-phase test. Without saying anything else, Lin Yi quickly walked back to Han Tianba and Han Xiaopa's side. He closed his eyes and entered the Jade Space, starting to use the second stage of the Art of Dragon Mastery to quickly heal himself. One had to say, the second stage of the Art of Dragon Mastery was much faster than the first stage. Boss, how are you? Han Xiaopa was about to ask, but Han Tianba waved his hand to stop him. Xiaopa, don't disturb Mr. Lin. He's resting, Han Tianba said. This was an Earth Class mid-phase attack. Although Lin Yi looked fine on the surface, Han Tianba knew that Lin Yi was only an Earth Class early phase peak. If it was him, he might not even be able to take it. The Hidden Han family's current attack resistance level is Earth Class mid-phase. Next contestant, come on up. Elder Zhao wasn't surprised that Lin Yi could take a mid-phase attack. In his mind, he had already classified Lin Yi's strength as Earth Class late phase peak. With Lin Yi's strength, it shouldn't be a problem for him to take a mid-phase attack. Earth Class mid-phase peak. The one who spoke was a disciple of the Hidden Yu family. Before he went on stage, he swallowed a medicinal pill. This was a medicinal pill that stimulated the human body's potential, similar to the energy pill in Jianghu. Although the competition said that treasures and tools couldn't be used, it didn't say that medicinal pills couldn't be taken. Therefore, the Hidden Yu family had an advantage. This medicinal pill could instantly increase the human body's resistance to attacks to the extreme. However, the side effects were also very obvious. If one couldn't take it, they could be crippled and unable to take care of themselves for the rest of their lives. Of course, this Yu family wasn't the core of the family. They were more like the underlings, and were promised a lot of benefits. If they won or got into the top 3, they would naturally be given some rewards. Meridian Unblocking Pill and Small Rejuvenating Pill were all prepared. To put it bluntly, even if they were beaten until they couldn't take care of themselves, they would be able to recover. However, if they couldn't get into the top 3, then there wouldn't be anything. To put it bluntly, it was a gamble. Earth Class mid-phase peak. This was already the limit of his limits. He himself was only an Earth Class mid-phase master. It was already very good to be able to take a blow from a master of the same level. Although this attack wasn't a martial arts technique, but pure qi, it was also the limit to raise it by one stage. After all, not everyone was like Lin Yi, able to take a beating above his level and recover after being beaten. In the eyes of this Yu family, if he could take the challenge of this Earth Class mid-phase peak, his current opponents would only be the Golden Clock Clan and the Fire Wolf Gang. However, even if these two people were stronger than him, he could still get into the top 3. This risk was worth it. Okay. Old Man Zhao nodded after listening. He set the roulette on the tool to the peak of Earth Class mid-phase peak. He still said expressionlessly, "You better stand properly. We're going to instill qi and activate the tool." "Ready," said Yu family. "Let's begin," Old Man Zhao said, and once again placed his palm on the instilling position of the tool. Old Yu, and Old Tang also placed their palms and activated their qi at the same time. The progress bar on the tool instantly reached the peak of Earth Class mid-phase peak. The giant arm once again struck out from the tool. With a loud bang, The hidden Yu family member was sent flying, just like Lin Yi before. Uft! The hidden Yu family member screamed and spat out a mouthful of blood after landing on the ground. However, he did not die. Instead, he stubbornly climbed up and limped towards the Yu clan's camp with a miserable expression. Take this. Old Yu took out a normal healing pill and gave it to the hidden Yu family member. The hidden Yu didn't hesitate and swallowed it directly. This pill could only maintain his injuries. He also knew that the circulation pill and the meridian opening pill would only be given to him after the results were obtained. As for the heaven and earth elixirs, he had to go back and get them. He wasn't in a rush, so he sat on the side and closed his eyes to suppress his injuries. Hidden Yu family's current resistance level is Earth class mid-phase peak. Next participant, please come on stage. Old Zhao announced after seeing that the hidden Yu family member didn't die. In this type of competition, as long as one didn't die on the spot, it was considered a victory. We the hidden House Yu choose to forfeit. The one who went on stage was House Yu. In the arena, the Firewolves and Golden Clock Sect's participants had already pulled up to Earth class mid-phase peak. The hidden House Yu didn't think that he had such a high resistance level, so he wisely chose to forfeit under Old Yu's hint. Otherwise, it would be pointless even if he went up. We the Firewolves choose to forfeit. This time, it wasn't the Firewolves who spoke, but Enrich. As for the one who walked onto the stage, he still had a dull look in his eyes. After he walked onto the stage, he stood there motionlessly. Chapter 2109. Then he said expressionlessly, Fire Wolves, stand properly, we're going to inject chi and activate the item. I'm ready. The one who spoke was Enrich, not from the Fire Wolf gang. This situation made Lin Yi a little puzzled. These Fire Wolves were really strange, always with this kind of dull and lifeless expression. Or had he seen something like this before? But before Lin Yi could remember, the competition had started again. Let's begin. After saying that, Elder Zhao placed his palm on the device again. Elder Yu, and Elder Tang placed their palms on the device as well, channeling their chi at the same time. The progress bar on the device instantly reached the late phase of Earth class, and the giant arm came out of the device once more. With a loud bang, the Fire Wolf gang member was also sent flying. Thud! A loud sound was heard, and the Fire Wolf gang member fell to the ground. He was in a worse state than Lin Yi and the hidden House Yu. After all, Lin Yi and the hidden House Yu had some technique when they fell, and they didn't fall so abruptly. That was simply adding injuries on top of injuries. However, this Fire Wolf gang member didn't seem to care at all. After landing on the ground, he spat out a mouthful of blood, but he was still able to stand up. He staggered towards Enrich. However, Enrich gave an order to another follower of his, and this follower immediately brought him away from the competition venue. Lin Yi frowned, guessing that the Fire Wolves wouldn't be able to survive. But they didn't die on the spot, and even if Lin Yi wanted to find fault with them, Old Zhao would probably have an excuse, saying that it was human nature to die of old age and sickness. As long as they didn't die on the spot, it had nothing to do with the competition. So Lin Yi couldn't be bothered to argue with these people. Fire Wolves, the current resistance level is the late phase of Earth class. Next contestant, please come onto the stage. Old Man Zhao seemed to know the inside story and couldn't wait to announce the results of the competition. As for where the Fire Wolf gang went and what they did, he didn't care and pretended not to see them. Golden Bell Sect late phase peak. This time, it was the last contestant to participate in the written exam, and also the most favored contestant in this competition. However, Lin Yi only looked at the Golden Clock Sect coldly. This guy used his practitioner's arts as soon as he got on. He was only a mystic early phase peak, but he was probably the trump card of the Golden Clock Sect. The Golden Bell Sect was a physical sect, and they practiced that kind of martial art. The weakness of this martial art was that the higher one went, the harder it got. Plus, they didn't have powerful arts or ancestors, so they weren't very strong. Using Mystic Late Phase Peak to challenge an Earth Class Late Phase Peak was completely relying on their physical training. Back then, Ma Zhu and Jin Wudi were the same. Their bodies were extremely resistant, and Lin Yi had to mutilate himself to even hurt Ma Zhu. All right. Old man Zhao nodded and set the roulette on the tool to the peak of the late phase of Earth class. Then he said expressionlessly, "Stand still, we're going to instill Jin Qi and activate the tool." "Ready," the Golden Bell sect member said confidently. "All right, let's begin." With that, Elder Zhao once again placed his palm on the Qi infusion point. Elder Yu, and Elder Tang also placed their palms on it, channeling their Qi at the same time. The progress bar on the item instantly reached the Earth class late phase peak, and the giant arm struck out, landing on the Golden Bell sect's body with a loud bang. But this time, it was different from Lin Yi and the others. After being hit by the arm, the Golden Bell sect member stood still and took the hit. He stood like a pine tree, not moving at all. It wasn't that he didn't want to use the force to fly out, but this was how the Golden Bell shield worked. He had to stay where he was and not move, otherwise the effect would be greatly reduced. So in order to take the attack head-on, he had to grit his teeth and not move. Finally, the force dissipated, and the Golden Bell sect member took it. But with a pft, he spat out a mouthful of blood. Evidently, the attack from the Earth class late phase peak had exceeded his limits and caused him serious internal injuries. Although this attack wouldn't take his life and break his Golden Bell shield, he would need at least 3 to 5 years to recover. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to advance any further. But when he thought of Jin Gang's promise that as long as he won the championship, he would be allowed to use the Golden Bell sect's unique body tempering potion, his heart surged. So, even though he was injured, his heart was still happy, and he happily walked back to Jin Gang's side. The Golden Bell sect is currently the record holder for the highest level of resistance. Earth class late phase peak. Are there any disciples from other families or sects who aren't satisfied and want to challenge them? Old Zhao asked after announcing the results of the competition. Han Xiaopa didn't expect that the disciples who went up next would all have higher levels of resistance, and that Lin Yi was already out of the top 3. This was something he didn't expect. Originally, he thought that even if Lin Yi didn't win, he would at least be in the top 3, right? But now, he was actually in 4th place. Was he going to lose this competition just like that? Han Xiaopa wasn't willing to accept it. Of course, this kind of unwillingness stemmed from his blind trust and worship for Lin Yi. From his perspective, Lin Yi couldn't lose. Since he was participating, then he had the confidence. Lin Yi wouldn't do anything he wasn't confident in. But reality had dealt a blow to Han Xiaopa. If possible, he wanted to go up himself and challenge the strength of a mystic late phase peak. After a moment of silence, Han Xiaopa said, "Old Zhao, I have a question." "Oh, could it be that you want to take Lin Yi's place to challenge?" "Of course, that's possible. You're also a disciple of the hidden Han family. If it's this question, then you don't have to ask." Old Zhao looked at Han Xiaopa and teased. As far as he was concerned, this golden class mid-phase Han Xiaopa was only going to die once he went up. There was no other possibility. Chapter 2110. Old Zhao was taken aback. He hadn't considered that much. To put it bluntly, when these rules were set, they didn't think too much about it. From their perspective, the hidden house of Han would forfeit every match, and the predetermined houses and sects would win without a doubt. But Lin Yi's appearance had broken this rule, turning the hidden house's summit into a mess. Could it be a tie? Han Xiaopa asked. Naturally, the first challenger will be the winner. Jin Gang spoke up. We challenged the Earth class late phase peak first. If you didn't challenge, then we'll win. If you want to beat us, you'll have to challenge someone of a higher level. That's not fair, is it? Han Xiaopa's face changed. What's fair about it? The order of challenges is decided by drawing lots, and you guys challenged before us. If you have the ability, you could have challenged first. What's the point of complaining about this? When Vajra heard what Han Xiaopa said, he naturally retorted. He did not want to hand over the hard-earned victory just like that. Phew, Lin Yi let out a breath. His internal injuries were already healed, and his mental state was at its peak. He couldn't help but smile at Jin Gang's words. Not a tie? That's good, that's what I wanted. I'm going to challenge the Sky Class Early Phase. If you want to surpass me, then challenge the Sky Class Early Phase Peak. With that, Lenny walked up to the stage in a carefree manner. Sky Class Early Phase? Don't talk big. Don't lose your life here. Jean Gang laughed coldly. Old Zhao, since this kid wants to die, then let's fulfill his wish. Hidden House of Han. Are you sure you want to challenge the Sky Class Early Phase? Old Zhao was overjoyed, but he didn't show it on his face. You should know that tools have no eyes. If you die on the stage, then it'll be a waste. I want a challenge, so of course I'm ready, Lenny said. Alright then, get ready. Elder Zhao nodded and placed his palm on the chi transfer point again. Elder Yu, and Elder Tang looked at each other with joy in their eyes. They had been looking for a chance to kill Lin Yi. And just as they were worried that they didn't have a chance, this Lin Yi had delivered himself to their doorstep. Heaven Stage Initial Stage. Hehe. Even a Heaven Stage Initial Stage expert like Old Master Zhao wouldn't dare to stand there and take such a move head-on. Taking a hit from a master of the same level was suicide. Even if Lin Yi was a Sky Class Early Phase master, he wouldn't be able to take it without his divine arts. These old men had always wanted to kill without a trace and draw a clear line between themselves. They put their palms together and channeled their chi at the same time. The progress bar on the tool didn't take an instant this time. It took a while before it reached the Heaven Stage Initial Stage. Then, the giant arm suddenly struck out and smashed onto Lin Yi's body. Bam! Lin Yi's body was sent flying again, flying tens of meters away before landing heavily on the ground. Puffed! Lin Yi spat out a mouthful of blood, feeling as if his organs had been shifted, and most of the meridians in his body had been shattered as well. He'd only felt like this when he'd saved Guan Xian at the very end of the fight. This was the feeling of reaching the limit of his life, the feeling of being on the verge of death. It seemed like he had underestimated the power of a Heaven Stage Initial Stage expert. With his current strength, it wasn't realistic to want to arm wrestle with a Heaven Stage Initial Stage expert. The reason why Lin Yi tried the attack of a Heaven Stage Initial Stage expert wasn't because he was reckless. He wanted to win the championship again, and win those bets. Lin Yi wasn't the kind of person who was bored enough to fight to the death for some spoils of war. There was a reason why he tried. His repeated victories had already aroused the jealousy and fear of the group of old men and sect leaders, led by Old Master Zhao. If this continued, they would definitely not let Lin Yi off so easily. Yesterday's endurance competition was an example. These people wanted to kill him with their pressure, so Lin Yi felt hostility. He wanted to test how injured he would be after receiving a blow from a Heaven Stage Initial Stage expert. It was impossible for him to die. Lin Yi was confident that as long as he endured this kind of blow and didn't get his head blown up, there was hope for him to recover. Therefore, Lin Yi wanted to test the power of a Heaven Stage Initial Stage expert. Secondly, if he continued to participate in the competition without any injuries, after receiving a full blow from a Heaven Stage Initial Stage expert, it would definitely make those Heaven Stage old men extremely afraid and not dare to make a move easily, because they couldn't figure out his strength. Even if they were angry or jealous, before knowing his trump card, they couldn't directly shed all pretense of cordiality. Back when he was at Mystic, Sky Class gave him the feeling of being high up in the sky, so majestic, so unreachable. But now at Earth Stage, the strength of Heaven Stage was not so uncontrollable. At least, he wouldn't be killed in one move by a Heaven Stage expert. This was something that made Lin Yi very happy. After landing, Lin Yi didn't dare to stop. After entering the space of the Jade Pendant, he began to heal his internal injuries. Of course, Lin Yi didn't completely heal them. He only healed the more serious injuries on his internal organs and meridians. As for the broken sternum, he wasn't in a hurry. It wouldn't be too late to heal them when Lin Yi returned to his temporary residence. Lin Yi sat cross-legged and didn't speak. This made Han Xiaopa, who wasn't far away, anxious. When he saw Lin Yi being sent flying, his heart tightened. He wanted to see what was going on, but he was afraid that Lin Yi's injury would disturb Lin Yi's mental cultivation method to heal his injuries. So for a moment, he was in a bit of a dilemma. Linny, are you dead or alive? Say something. Old man Zhao saw that after Linny landed, he sat there motionlessly. He wasn't sure if Linny was dead or not, so he opened his mouth to ask. But in his heart, he was still inclined to let Linny die on the spot. What are you arguing about? Mr. Lin is recovering from his injuries and can't speak. Do you want him to go berserk? Han Tianba said angrily. This was also the first time he dared to go against these old men from other hidden families. Chapter 21:11. That's right. Even I wouldn't dare to take it head-on. Elder Yu said, but he sighed in his heart. This Lin Yi. If only he wasn't the hidden House Yu's rival. Too bad. Not only did he steal House Yu's Qi gathering pill, but he also destroyed House Yu's power. This made Elder Yu have no choice but to be hostile towards Lin Yi. Otherwise, with Lin Yi's relationship with Yu Bing and Yu Ning, he could join the hidden House Yu. That would be the key for House Yu to ascend to a higher level, the ancient house. However, Ning's matters weren't up to him. She would definitely rise to the top. Even if she wasn't the future head of the hidden House Yu, she would be the future support of the hidden House Yu, because she had already been chosen by the people from that place. You guys don't dare to. But if it was me, I'd be dead already. Elder Yu didn't hide it. He mainly focused on refining pills, and his arts were support arts. Although he had reached Sky Class, this Sky Class was much weaker than normal Sky Class. He would die for sure if he took that hit. That's right, that's what I meant. Elder Tang's thoughts were similar to Elder Yu's, regretful and pitiful. If this Lanny didn't treat him and Tang Yun like that, wouldn't things be different in the hidden house Tang? If Linny didn't die from that hit, how amazing would that be? They didn't even dare to take a hit from an early-stage Sky Class, but Linny did. What did this mean? It meant that even if Linny wasn't stronger than an early-stage Sky Class, he was at least an early-stage Sky Class. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not dead. I'm fine, I'll be fine after some rest. Linny opened his eyes and smiled. He stood up and walked towards Han Tianba steadily, as if he wasn't injured at all. He was completely different from the others. How? How is this possible? Elder Zhao's eyes were wide as he stared at Lin Yi, completely unharmed after spitting out blood. You. Just how strong are you? Elder Yu stared at Lin Yi as if he had seen a ghost. This doesn't make sense. Is there something wrong with this prop? Elder Yu looked at the prop in front of him in doubt. Whether there's a problem or not, you'll know after you try it yourself. Lin Yi said faintly, don't talk nonsense. Is there anyone else who wants to continue the challenge? Everyone looked at each other in dismay. How were they supposed to challenge an early-stage heaven rank? However, Diamond's expression was extremely ugly. He had a closed-door disciple, the trump card of this tournament. He was preparing to let him participate in the single elimination tournament. This disciple was also Mystic Late Phase Peak. But in terms of golden cover, he was much stronger than the disciple who had participated in the previous tournament. If the previous disciple's limit was Earth Class Late Phase Peak, then this disciple's limit would be Sky Class Early Phase. But the key problem was that he had just blocked his own path. He told Lin Yi that if he wanted to challenge, he had to challenge someone of a higher level. In other words, if he wanted to beat Lin Yi, he had to challenge someone of Sky Class Early Phase Peak. That way, his disciple wouldn't be able to take it at all. He'd be killed the moment he went up. If Diamond went up, there wouldn't be a problem. Naturally, he would be able to take the hit. But the rules of the Hidden House Summit stipulated that the participating disciples had to be below 25 years old. They couldn't be older than that, and Diamond had long since surpassed that age. Diamond hated it. Wouldn't it be great if they were tied? If he had let his guard down just now, maybe Linny wouldn't have challenged someone of Sky Class Early Phase. He'd have challenged someone of Earth Class Late Phase Peak, and then they'd be tied for first place. That would be much better than this second place. At the very least, after Linny challenged someone of Sky Class Early Phase, he could let his closed-door disciple challenge someone of the same level. That way, they'd still be tied for first place. After all, in the single elimination tournament, his disciple had an advantage. Even if he couldn't beat the opponent wouldn't be able to hurt him. But the rules of the single elimination tournament weren't just about defeating the opponent. As long as the opponent was knocked off the stage, it would be considered a win. Although his closed-door disciple had the golden bell cover to protect him, and his disciple would definitely be able to take a pure chi attack, there was no guarantee that the opponent would be able to use a powerful martial technique to knock his disciple off the stage. After all, martial techniques were much more powerful than pure chi attacks. So, in the single elimination tournament, he didn't have the confidence to win. The best-case scenario was for everyone to be tied for first place. But that was also very uncertain. There was a good chance right in front of him, but it was ruined for no reason. The Hidden Han family is currently the record holder for the highest level of resistance. Sky Class Early Phase. Are there any disciples from other families or sects who aren't satisfied and want to challenge them? Old Man Zhao announced the results of the tournament and asked. But after asking, no one answered for a long time. Leader Jean, do you have any disciples who want to challenge? Old Man Zhao asked again, placing his hopes on the Golden Bell Gate. No. Yes. Diamond said these two words with difficulty. He was a little helpless. But he had to give up. Well, since there are no more, then the champion of this competition is the Hidden Han family. The second place is the Golden Bell Gate. And the third place is the Fire Wolf Gang. Old Man Zhao announced. When this result came out, the face of the Hidden Yu family's disciple suddenly turned pale. He was fourth place. He actually became fourth place. And there was no benefit for fourth place. Previously, Old Man Yu promised him that he would only be rewarded if he entered the top 3. Only then would he give him the Meridian Unblocking Pill and Small Rejuvenating Pill to heal his injuries. But now there was nothing he could do. He hated and regretted it. But there was nothing he could do. A loss was a loss. He was very regretful. He shouldn't have participated in this competition with illusions. The previous few competitions had already spread Lin Yi's reputation. Why did he still want to join in the fun? In this competition, the Golden Bell Gate was the predetermined first place, and the Fire Wolf Gang was also a popular candidate. He wanted to protect the third place. However, he deliberately ignored Lin Yi. In his opinion, Lin Yi was very good in so many competitions. He couldn't be all-rounder, right? But he lost the bet. There was no medicine for regret in this world. His future was naturally bleak. Chapter 21:12. Looking at Old Man Yu's indifferent gaze. It was as if he was looking at a dog. The disciple's heart turned cold. He was just a follower of Old Man Yu. In Old Man Yu's eyes, he was just like a dog, right? When it was useful, he would give him some benefits. When it was useless, he would probably kick him away. He didn't know if he would have the chance to continue staying in the Hidden Yu family. Would the Hidden Yu family raise a cripple? He would probably be kicked out after he returned, right? At that time, he would be a cripple with injuries all over his body. He wouldn't even be able to do ordinary work. He would probably have no choice but to beg for food, right? He regretted it. He thought that his future would be bright if he relied on the Yu family. He could develop in the Yu family and break through the barrier as soon as possible to break through to the heaven stage. He was a lone cultivator. He was already proud to have such a cultivation, but now it had become a dream. Of course, he still had a secret, a big secret that he didn't say. This secret was the secret that he, a lone cultivator, could advance to the middle stage of the earth stage at the age of 24. He was prepared to break through to the heaven stage in the Hidden Yu family. At that time, in order to repay the Hidden Yu family, he would say this secret. But now, he had seen through the fickleness of human nature. The Yu family treated him so well. How could he say this big secret? Taking a deep breath, the disciple of the Yu family looked at Old Master Yu with a glimmer of hope. He hoped that Old Master Yu could give him a Meridian Unblocking Pill and a Small Revitalizing Pill. Otherwise, even if his injuries were healed, he would still be a cripple. It would be a problem for him to survive in the future. You go back and rest. After returning to the Yu family, I will give you a severance pay. Spend it sparingly. It will be enough for you to live for the rest of your life. Old Master Yu was unhappy and said coldly, Okay. The disciple of the Yu family nodded helplessly and said, "But Master doesn't have to worry. Fortunately, I collected a small revitalizing pill and a meridian unblocking pill in the early years. My injuries have been suppressed now. I will go get it now." "Oh, you actually have such a pill in your hands? That's good. You go." "Old Master, you didn't expect this guy to have something good." It seemed that this guy didn't participate in the competition because he wanted to win, but he had a trump card. Little did he know that this disciple was just casually saying that to save his face. This disciple already had the intention to commit suicide. It was a great shame for a martial artist. Although Old Man Yu said that he could give him a severance pay, it was better to die than to live without purpose. The disciple cupped his fists and turned to leave. Lin Yi, on the other hand, looked at the back of the disciple deep in thought. As a former assassin, Lin Yi had a very thorough and profound understanding of the human heart and human nature. This disciple's eyes were filled with despair just now. Which part of him looked like he had a life-saving pill? This disciple must have committed suicide. This made Lin Yi sigh endlessly. These people, selling their lives for these hidden families in the end. But he kicked him away like trash. This guy was like that. And so was the Earth stage blue-haired man, who was by right coiling Tiger's side. Old Man, you didn't care about this disciple at all. His mind was on something else. Lin Yi won again. Was there any justice in this world? He could withstand the full blow of a heaven stage master. After adjusting his breath for a while, he returned to normal like a normal person. As for his own disciple, and the Golden Bell Sect's disciple, at this moment, their faces were quite ugly. They had suffered serious internal injuries, and the disciple of the Fire Wolf gang was probably dead now. Old Man Yu was very clear about what was going on with the Fire Wolf gang. They just injected some hypnotized puppets with biochemical drugs. These puppets relied on drugs, and were not afraid of death, or pain to hang on to their last breath. If they kept their lives, they would probably die once the effects of the drug wore off. This kind of evil method was somewhat similar to the Everyday and Everyday sect. So even if their contestant died, no one dared to mention it again. No one dared to bring it up again. Therefore, the Fire Wolf gang was able to sit in the third place. They were invulnerable. However, just because these people didn't doubt it didn't mean that everyone else didn't doubt it. A cold voice sounded. The Fire Wolf gang's way of doing things is really ingenious. They sent a puppet-like character up for the competition. I'm afraid he's dead now. What a joke. The winner is king, and the loser is a thief. Lin Yi, why do you have so much to say? Even if he died, he will die after the competition. What does it have to do with you? Although Mingyue was angry, he really didn't dare to do anything to Lin Yi. His own nephew was killed by Lin Yi. His son's leg was broken. Even the Fire Wolf gang's Earth Stage late phase master didn't dare to do anything to Lin Yi. What could Mingyue do? He could only say indifferently. The rules of the competition say that as long as you win, it's fine. It doesn't say that you can't die after the competition. Lin Yi just felt that the Yu clan disciple was a little pitiful, so he said it. However, if Lin Yi really wanted to stand up for the Yu clan disciple, Lin Yi wasn't interested. Even if the Fire Wolf gang took the third place and became the hidden Yu clan, Lin Yi wouldn't get a single cent of benefit. Okay, since there are no problems, let's invite the three clans to the stage to collect the bet. Grandpa Zhao said. Lin Yi collected the bet and glanced at the bet between the Fire Wolf gang and the Golden Clock sect. The Golden Clock sect still had the same bet as before. Lin Yi wasn't interested, but the Fire Wolf gang took out a bottle of potion this time. What is this potion? Lin Yi asked because during the registration, Mingyue only registered it as 01 potion. He didn't know what it was and didn't explain it. A potion that can make people instantly stronger. Do you want it? Mingyue said calmly. Although this potion was precious, it was harmful. It could make people instantly stronger, but the side effects after becoming stronger were also very obvious. Just like the previous Fire Wolf gang disciples, they weren't afraid of pain and death during the competition. Their potential was stimulated to the limit, but after the competition, they couldn't escape the fate of death. Mingyue hated Lin Yi, so naturally, she wouldn't explain too much. Oh, it sounds good. Give it to me, Linny said and casually took out a useless treasure from his bet and threw it to Enmingue in exchange for the 0-1 potion. No problem. Enmingue completed the exchange with Linny easily. The treasure was far more valuable to Enmingue than the 0-1 potion. Naturally, she was very happy. Chapter 21:13. He guessed that the disciples who participated in the competition before had all used this potion and turned into mindless cyborgs that were not afraid of pain and death. Linny didn't ask for this potion for his own use. He just wanted to take it back and study it. All right, since there's nothing else, let's go back and rest, Linny said faintly. His body had suffered internal injuries. Although there were no problems on the surface, he had to go back and heal. After saying that, Linny left with Han Tianba and Han Xiaopa. This match could be considered a daunting experience without any mishaps. Linny not only tested the power of an early-stage heaven rank expert, but he also won the championship once again. This was killing two birds with one stone. After Linny left, both Jin Gang and Elder Yu's faces turned ugly. Only Enmingue's expression was slightly better. To Enmingue, there was not much difference between the second and third place. She would either get back her bet or exchange it for another bet. On the other hand, Enmingue had already made a bet that she was satisfied with. Furthermore, being in the top 3 had helped the Fire Wolf gang regain some face, so things were still normal. However, Diamond Drill, who was originally aiming for the championship, had now lost the championship because of Lin Yi's challenge. The most infuriating thing was that it was because of his cheap mouth that he had added an additional rule to the competition, causing him to lose the championship. How could he feel good about this? It was the same for Old Master Yu. He was originally in the 3rd place, and it was already very stable. However, Linny rushed from the 4th place to the 1st place and pushed him to the 4th place. Forget it, don't get angry now. He could only piss himself off, and it didn't help the situation at all. Since Gantian Mountain Sect had a trump card in the last battle, why should we worry too much? Old Man Zhao said. Everyone can see that Linny suffered an all-out attack from an early-stage heaven-rank powerhouse, and is still fine. He can actually talk and laugh while walking. Even if we join hands, we might not be able to take down Linny. Not to mention, the rules of the tournament forbid any tricks. Yes. He might not even be a match for Linny. This Linny is really beyond my expectations. Old Master Yu sighed and shook his head. However, Elder Yu and Elder Tang both had the same thought in their minds. If they knew this would happen, they wouldn't have done it in the first place. Wouldn't it have been better if he hadn't gone against Linny? The Hidden Tang family had already cut off their relationship with Linny. That day, they had chosen to stand with the right family and the Heavenly Elixir sect, becoming enemies with Linny, Tang Yun, and the Ice Palace. There was absolutely no chance for him to go back on his words, unless he broke off relations with the Hidden Right family and the Heavenly Elixir sect. That would not be worth it. The Hidden House Yu, on the other hand, had Elder Yu's heart shifting slightly. If only Lin Yi wasn't the one who stole Yu Huixing's chi-gathering pill. That way, the two families would be able to come clean. Other than the common House Yu, there wasn't any hatred that couldn't be resolved. But chi-gathering pills. It was a hatred of life and death. Delaying Yu Shaochen from breaking through to Sky Class was a huge sin to the Hidden House Yu. Even if Elder Yu wanted to repair his relationship with Lin Yi, Yu Shaochen might not be willing. That was a chance to break through to Sky Class. To a practitioner, that was the most precious thing. It wasn't a big deal if 1 or 2 people died, since they were just trash. But the problem now was the chi-gathering pill. With that thought, Elder Yu let out a long sigh and turned around, leaving the place with big steps. When Linny returned to his temporary residence, his face changed from red to pale. Linny had only temporarily replenished some energy to repair the damage to his organs, but it wasn't completely healed. Now that he was back, there was no need to hide it anymore. Boss, what's wrong? Han Xiaopa looked at Lin Yi and asked, shocked. It's nothing. The power of an early phase Sky Class is indeed extraordinary, and it's a head-on fight. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. I've suffered a serious internal injury, and I need to heal now. Just don't disturb me. I won't be eating lunch. Ah. Then the next match. Han Xiaopo was shocked when he heard that Lin Yi was injured. Then should we forfeit the next match? Haha, it's fine, I'll be fine in a while. Lin Yi said casually. Oh. Han Xiaopo nodded, not saying anything else after hearing Lin Yi's words. At noon, a disciple from House Zhao brought food over. Lin Yi closed his eyes to heal, and Han Xiaopo didn't dare to disturb him. He left a portion for Lin Yi and ate quietly with Han Tianba, waiting for Lin Yi to recover. If the envoy from House Zhao came to invite them before Lin Yi recovered, then Han Xiaopo would have declined. After all, Lin Yi's health was more important than the outcome of the match. As long as there's life, there's hope. But, just as the afternoon match was about to start, Lin Yi opened his eyes abruptly and let out a long breath. Phew, boss, you've recovered? Han Xiaopo saw Lin Yi open his eyes and asked with joy. Yes, I've recovered. Lin Yi nodded. I think the people from House Zhao will be here soon. Sure enough, as soon as Lin Yi's voice fell, the voice of a disciple from House Zhao came from outside the temporary residence. Is Master Han here? Today's second match is about to begin. Master Han, please bring your participating disciples and bets to the meeting hall to register. This time, Han Tianba wasn't in a hurry to agree. Instead, he turned to look at Lin Yi. After all, in his opinion, Lin Yi was seriously injured in the morning. If he participated in the match at this time, and affected his recovery, then it would be a loss. They had won so many matches. Occasionally losing 1 or 2 matches wouldn't affect the Hidden Han family's reputation at all. Moreover, the Hidden Han family could afford to lose the bets. Let's go, Xiaopa Elder Han. Let's see the 6th match. Lin Yi said. May I ask what this match is about? I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that this match is an alchemy competition. The disciple from House Zhao replied carefully. It wasn't that he forgot to mention it. He came specifically to inform them, so how could he forget to mention it? There was only one reason why he didn't mention the details of the match. Elder Zhao had instructed him to test Lin Yi's side. If Lin Yi was injured and didn't mention the details of the match, then Lin Yi was likely to forfeit because of his injury. Chapter 21:14. Old Master, you had lost several games in a row. If he lost this alchemy competition again, it would be really shameful, so he came up with such a way to ask Old Master Zhao for help. Oh, lead the way. After listening, Lin Yi's face was calm and said faintly, Yes. The disciple nodded. On the surface, he respectfully led the way in front, but he secretly sent a text message to Old Master Zhao with his mobile phone. Lin Yi asked about the content of the competition, and he had already rushed to the meeting hall. In the meeting hall, after Old Master Zhao received the text message, he handed the phone to Old Master Yu with a gloomy face and said, Your previous strategy didn't work. Lin Yi didn't give up. He also asked about the competition. When he heard that it was alchemy, Lin Yi came. Even a blow at the early stage of Heaven's stage couldn't kill him. It's really strange. Old Master Yu was furious when he saw the text message. This alchemy competition was prepared for the Yu family. But now, it seemed to be tailor-made for Lin Yi. Second-grade medicinal pills were nothing in Lin Yi's eyes. Except for the small qi-gathering pill, which Lin Yi took. Lin Yi didn't even look at the Foundation Establishment pill, Small Huan pill, and Meridian Unblocking pill. What did this mean? It meant that Lin Yi should be able to refine it himself. The reason why the small qi-gathering pill was accepted was probably because the refining material was more expensive than the others, so Lin Yi took it. However, the other materials were not precious. They were expensive in the grade of the medicinal pills. If Lin Yi could refine it himself, naturally he wouldn't care. Grandpa, what should I do? I can only refine a first-grade medicinal pill now, and I'm not 100% able to refine it. When Lin Yi comes and directly refines a second-grade medicinal pill, won't I lose? Yupanhu said. However, it's fine if I lose. According to the rules of the competition, whoever refines the higher grade of medicinal pills wins. I can get second place no matter what. But the key problem is that Lin Yi got first place again. How could old man you want Lin Yi to win first place again? The Yu family was an aristocratic family that focused on alchemy. If an outsider won the alchemy championship, it would be a slap in the face. Not only would it lose face for the Yu family, but it would also lose face for their master, the Heavenly Elixir sect. He absolutely could not lose this face. They couldn't let Lin Yi win this match. That's right. We must think of a way to prevent Lin Yi from getting first place. Old Man Yu said, Coiling Tiger. In other competitions, it doesn't matter how our hidden Yu family's ranking is because the Heavenly Elixir sect doesn't care. However, if it's an alchemy competition, it will be a slap in the face. The Heavenly Elixir faction will definitely be unhappy. Yes, right. Coiling Tiger nodded. That Lin Yi is really despicable. Old Master Yu, I have a good idea. Old Master Tang spoke up. Oh, what good idea? Grandpa Tang, please speak. Grandpa Yu quickly asked. Change the rules of the competition. Old Master Tang said. Let's change the rules of the competition. Whoever is able to refine a third-grade medicinal pill in the shortest amount of time, within the allotted time, will be the winner. And so on and so forth. Third-grade elixir? How is that possible? Even I can't refine it successfully. Old Master Yu was stunned and asked. The rule is to fail. Old Master Tang smiled and said, Old Master Yu, do you want Lin Yi to win? Or not win at all? That's right. Old Yu was suddenly enlightened. Although we changed the rules to refining level 3 elixirs, and we can't win this competition, it's impossible for Lin Yi to win. When that time comes, everyone will lose. There won't be a problem of face. Grandpa, this is a good idea, but it's a bit of a pity. Right. Coiling Tiger sighed. Originally, he wanted to be in the limelight in this alchemy competition. However, when he found out that Lin Yi was also participating, he didn't have the mood. It's not a pity, it's the only way. Otherwise, if Lin Yi wins again, I will die of anger. Old Master Yu said, Okay, let's follow this rule. On this side, Old Master Yu changed the rules of the competition. Lin Yi and the others also came to the meeting hall. Han Tianba registered Lin Yi's name and bet, then sat quietly by the side, waiting for Old Master Zhao to announce the rules of the competition. However, whether it was Han Tianba or Han Xiaopa, they had unprecedented confidence in this competition because they knew that Lin Yi was an alchemist. Alchemy was Lin Yi's strength, so the chances of winning this competition were still very high. However, although Lin Yi looked calm on the surface, he was smiling bitterly in his heart. I know alchemy? Let Han Jingjing participate? That's more like it. However, Lin Yi didn't want to reveal Han Jingjing's trump card too early. The tree that stood out in the forest would be destroyed by the wind. Han Jingjing wasn't Lin Yi. Lin Yi had some trump cards and self-protection methods, but Han Jingjing didn't. If the Hidden Yu family, or the Heavenly Elixir sect realized the crisis, and sent people to kill Han Jingjing, it would be too late for Lin Yi to cry. Therefore, there was no need for Lin Yi to let Han Jingjing participate for such a small bet. Even if Han Jingjing participated, there must be a heaven-defying reward for Lin Yi to consider it. Lin Yi didn't even have the mood for this kind of small fight. The reason why Lin Yi appeared here was to form a kind of pressure on the Hidden Zhao family, the Hidden Yu family, and the other aristocratic families. He told them that the power of the early stage of Heaven stage couldn't do anything to him. He was still alive and kicking. It was to let their conspiracy against him rest first. Sure enough, these people were a little surprised when they saw Lin Yi participate in the competition with a normal expression. One had to know that the disciples of the Golden Bell sect were injured to the point that they couldn't get out of bed. The disciples of the Fire Wolf gang were already dead, and the disciples of the Yu family were nowhere to be found. Yupanhu, how are you? This time, shouldn't your Yu family change the bet to a second-grade medicine cauldron? I think that thing is pretty good. Why don't you give me another one? Lin Yi saw Yupanhu and greeted him with a smile. Damn, do you think a second-grade medicine cauldron is a street item? It's not easy to take out a first-grade medicine cauldron as a bet in this competition. A second-grade medicine cauldron? Do you think my family produces medicine cauldrons? Right. Coiling Tiger heard Lin Yi's words, as if he could definitely win, and immediately said in a displeased manner, Stingy. Lin Yi shrugged. Chapter 21:15. Coiling Tiger. Old Master Yu shouted to you, Coiling Tiger. Don't argue with him. So what if he's a second-grade medicinal cauldron? He has the ability to win first. Yes, the rules of the competition haven't been announced yet. Do you think you're omnipotent? You, Coiling Tiger, curled his lips. Old Master Yu nodded and gestured to Old Master Zhao to announce the new rules. Well, everyone already knows that this competition is an alchemy competition. Next, I will announce the rules of the competition. Old Master Zhao said. The rules of this alchemy competition are: whoever can refine a third-grade medicinal pill in the shortest time within the stipulated time will be the winner. The second and third place will be the same. There are no restrictions on the type of medicinal pill. As long as it's a third-grade medicinal pill, it is in line with the rules of the competition. Next, the contestants from the various families and sects. Please take your positions and prepare to refine medicinal pills. Third grade. Linny was stunned. Who set the rules? Are they retarded? Is there anyone here who can refine third-grade medicinal pills? If third-grade medicinal pills were so easy to refine, Rock Candy wouldn't be so worried. Yes, it's third grade. Seeing Lin Yi's puzzled eyes, Old Master Zhao nodded proudly. Sure enough, Linny couldn't refine it. Is there anyone here who can refine third-grade medicinal pills? Linny asked. Don't worry about others. If you can refine it, then do it. You, Coiling Tiger, sneered. Oh, I can't. Linny said faintly. I can't even make a first-level pill, let alone a third-level pill. I said before that I would forfeit this match, and now I'm fulfilling my promise. Linny said faintly. Don't even mention a third-level pill. Ha! You, Coiling Tiger, was stunned. It wasn't surprising that Linny forfeited. After all, he had long felt that Linny couldn't refine third-grade medicinal pills. What surprised him was Lin Yi's words. He couldn't refine first-grade medicinal pills? Was this possible? Wasn't Linny an alchemist? Why couldn't he even refine first-grade medicinal pills? Thinking of this, Yupon, who looked at Old Master Yu suspiciously. Linny, don't talk nonsense. Who doesn't know that you're an alchemist? You can't even refine a first-grade medicinal pill? Who are you trying to fool? Do you expect me to believe that? Old Man Yu snorted and said, I know you can't complete it because the rules are so high. So you want to provoke me on purpose? It doesn't matter. I'm not angry, and I don't believe it either. If you had said that you were injured in the morning and didn't have enough true qi to concoct pills, I would have believed you. But you used such a clumsy excuse to say that you gave up. Really? TSK. Linny looked at Old Master Yu speechlessly and shook his head. He said regretfully, in this day and age, no one believes the truth. I really feel sorry for your IQ. Tisk, do you think I will believe what you said? Old Master Yu snorted. Linny, just give up. Don't find so many excuses. I didn't find any excuses, Linny said and looked at Old Master Pai. I say, Old Man Pai, I said before that if I give up the competition, you will give me a bottle of body tempering potion, right? Now I give up. Give me the body tempering potion. Old Pai had forgotten about this. After being reminded by Lin Yi, he remembered the bet. His face suddenly darkened, and he blamed Old Master Yu for changing the rules of the competition. Let Lin Yi win, so be it. The rules were changed. Lin Yi gave up, and he lost a bottle of body tempering potion for no reason. You can't blame me for this. If you want to blame something, blame this alchemy competition. If there was no alchemy competition, I might not have given up. Linny said. So what if I give it to you? Old Master Pai didn't dare to renege on Lin Yi's belongings. Old Master Pai was just an external early-stage Sky Class Master. He didn't have the strength to challenge Lin Yi. Originally, if an external early-stage Sky Class Master didn't have any special skills, he could only be on par with an internal late-stage Peak Earth Class Master. Even if Old Master Pai's martial arts focused on Divine Fist, he could only be on par with an internal early-stage Sky Class Master. But Lin Yi was fine against an early-stage Sky Class Master. Old Master Pai couldn't win against Lin Yi, so he could only take a step back and accept his loss. That's great, there's a reward for giving up. It's not a loss. Lin Yi nodded proudly, and then nodded to Coiling Tiger, right? You guys continue the competition, There's nothing else for me to do. I forfeit as well. Pan Huyu felt that something wasn't right. This Lin didn't seem to feel like he'd been set up by someone else after reading the rules. He didn't seem to be angry at all. Instead, it was as if he was taking pleasure in his misfortune. But Coiling Tiger Right couldn't figure out what the problem was. As for Old Master Yu, he also felt that something seemed to be wrong. But he couldn't figure out what the problem was for the time being. Coiling Tiger Right announced that he had given up, so the others naturally wouldn't be able to concoct a third-level pill. Not to mention the hidden houses. Even the ancient sects wouldn't be able to concoct a third-level pill. This competition could be said to be an impossible task. Since everyone has given up, the competition is over. There's no winner. All houses and sects, please collect your bets. Old Master Yu announced. Lin happily took the body-tempering potion that Old Master Yu had sent someone to get him, as well as the bets that he had bet before. He happily left with Han Tianba and Han Xiaopa, leaving behind a group of people staring at each other. Grandpa, why doesn't Lin look depressed at all? It seems like he's very happy with this result. Coiling Tiger Right felt that something was wrong. I feel the same way, but that Lin kid is very cunning. Even if he's unhappy, he won't show it. His goal is to make us unhappy, so don't fall for it. Old Master Yu said after some thought. That's right, this kid is the best at acting. Or else he wouldn't have been able to trick my two cauldrons. Coiling Tiger Right nodded. Old Master Yu, because of this rule change, our hidden house Pai lost a bottle of body-tempering potion. You can't blame this on us, right? Old Master Pai said unhappily. He didn't dare to wrestle with Lin, but he wanted to get some benefits from Old Master Yu. Chapter 21:16. If that's the case, thank you. With Elder Yu's promise, Elder Pai didn't say anything else. Lin, Han Tianba, and Han Xiaopa walked back to their temporary residence. On the way, Han Xiaopa said angrily, Boss, this rule is a bit annoying. It seems like it's deliberately targeting you. Who can make a third-level medicinal pill? According to the information we received before, the rules of the alchemy competition are that the higher the grade of the alchemy pill refined, the shorter the time used to refine the pill. Why did it suddenly become a third-grade pill? Oh, were the previous rules really like what you said? Lin was slightly stunned. Yes. And the alchemy competition of the previous hidden summit has always been like this. It hasn't been changed for a long time. It's hard not to think that the sudden change this time is to deliberately target you, boss. Han Xiaopa nodded and said, Elder Yu and Coiling Tiger Right. Lin smiled. This alchemy competition, Lin was ready to give up, otherwise he wouldn't have made such a bet with the hidden house of Pai. But it seemed that the hidden house of Pai was too careful. Seeing that he won so many matches in a row, they didn't want him to continue winning, so they deliberately changed the rules of the competition. In the end, not only did they not harm Lin, but they also harmed themselves. Lin Yi's original idea was to casually trade a useless treasure for a bottle of body-tempering potion. It would be an equal exchange, and there would be no loss. But what Lin didn't expect was that he didn't lose anything, and earned a bottle of body-tempering potion for free. Yes, they are really evil, Han Xiaopa said. But fortunately they didn't win, so we didn't lose in this competition. Not only did we not lose, but we also made a big profit. Lin smiled. Although my injuries have healed, I have used up a lot of pure energy. If you ask me to concoct elixirs now, I really can't even concoct a first-grade elixir. I didn't lie to you before. Ah, no way. Han Xiaopa heard Lin Yi's words and suddenly became overjoyed. Ha 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 ha. So this old man, you lifted a rock and smashed it on his own feet? It's so cool. If they knew the truth, they would probably regret it. Sometimes they may not believe me even if I tell the truth. Just like before, I told them that I can't make medicinal pills. I can't concoct pills, but they don't believe me. Lin said. That's true. But this matter of making a fortune quietly, I don't care what they think. Han Xiaopa's mood lightened up instantly. Although they didn't get first place, Lin was still the biggest winner. Isn't that the disciple of the hidden house of Yu? Han Tianba suddenly frowned, and looked at the forest not far from his temporary residence. There was a person there. At this moment, he was kneeling beside an Uncle Yang with a blank look on his face. He was muttering to himself, but no one knew what he was saying. And this person was actually the hidden disciple of the Wright family, who had previously competed in the fight against each other. Linny also frowned and followed Han Tianba's gaze. Sure enough, it was the injured disciple from the House of You. You guys go back first, I'll go take a look. Linny sighed. He didn't know when it started, but his heart was no longer as cold as it was when he first returned to the city. Was it because of Xiao Xiao? Xiao Xiao had helped Chunxi a lot, and he was very touched by it. Was it because of Xiaoka? Xiaoka's dedication and sacrifice for the children in the orphanage. It moved Linny even more. Or was it because of the Mrs. Cold on the outside but warm on the inside? And over time, he was also influenced by her? In short, when Linny saw this disciple of House Yu's desperate and helpless expression, Linny sighed in his heart. This person was pitiful, relying on the hidden House of You. He thought that he would have a bright future, but he didn't expect to end up like this. If Linny couldn't see it, then so be it. But when he saw it, he felt like they were in the same boat. In the past, Linny had similar despair and helplessness. That time when he fought against Ma Zhu of the Golden Bell Gate, Linny was heavily injured and thought that he would never be able to train again, that he would never have strength again. But at that time, Lin Yi's master's attitude towards Lin Yi was completely different from the hidden House of You. At that time, the mist did not abandon him, and even wanted to go back to her hometown to seek refuge with him. This hidden House of Yu's disciple, on the other hand, was more miserable in comparison. He followed such a cold master he was pitiful. Lin Yi silently stood behind this hidden House of Yu's disciple. This hidden House of Yu's disciple's meridians were broken. He lost his strength, and his body was heavily injured. Naturally, he didn't notice the person behind him, and was talking to himself. Sister, I'm incompetent. I can't avenge you in this life. I originally thought that I had a fortuitous encounter, and reached the height of Earth rank at a young age. I could rely on the hidden House of You to have a good future. But I didn't expect. This disciple of Yu's was talking to himself about his sorrow. Sister, maybe you're already gone. I'm going to accompany you soon. Listening to this hidden House of Yu's disciple, Lin Yi's heart was heavy. This person joined the hidden House of You to take revenge? It seemed to be for his sister? You helped the wicked, joined the hidden House of You, and became a lackey. You should have been mentally prepared for today, the day you joined. Lin Yi said lightly. This disciple of Yu's was shocked. He didn't expect someone to stand behind him. He turned his head subconsciously, and saw that it was Lin Yi. His mouth curved into a self-deprecating smile. Did you come here to mock a defeated opponent like me? Defeated opponent? Lin Yi looked at the disciple of Yu's with interest. I pushed you from 3rd to 4th place. Don't you hate me? Hate? Why should I hate when I'm not as good as others? The disciple of Yu's shook his head and said, I hate. I only hate that I didn't follow the right master. You're right. I thought the hidden House of You would train me as their core disciple. I didn't expect it to be a lackey. However, I didn't help the wicked. I disdained being a thug for their family's disciples, and fawning on those in power. Oh, it's because you disdained that they used you to participate in the competition. Lin Yi smiled. This disciple of Yu's was stunned. He then nodded and said, Yes, they used me as a tool. Those thugs only needed to flatter and help those young masters as bodyguards to get some elixirs for cultivation. But I had to risk my life. That you're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.